Morton, who opened the second half of last season by winning his first 2 starts. A repeat performance would certainly be welcome as the Bucks battle the Rockies next.
Welcome to the North Shore, an overcast evening. The Pirates and the Colorado Rockies getting set for Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. The Pirates 4-2 winners last night in Game 1. Hi again, everyone. With Steve Blass, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Inspikowski will join us in just a little bit. Another game, it's another left-hander the Pirates have to face. They don't get to face too many of them, but 2 in a row, as Brett Anderson will throw for the Rockies tonight against Charlie Morton. And Steve, the Pirates hitters do pretty well against lefties.
Yeah, and they're going to load up a lot of right-handed sticks in this lineup against Brett Anderson. Take a look at the career numbers. McCutchen 331, Gabby Sanchez 297, Jordy Mercer 343. They're down a little bit this year, but that could be because they haven't seen a lot of lefties. So in this run, they're going to get all they want from left-hand starters. And think of those 3 guys, but also some other right-handed bats in the lineup. So Clint is putting a lot of right-handed effort into this game tonight against lefty Brett Anderson. Should be good opportunities for the Bucks.
See the numbers down a little bit against lefties, hoping to bring them up. Continuing with tonight's ball game, one guy who hits from the right side and who hits lefties well will not be in the lineup tonight. Starling Marte. He's the subject of our Allegheny Health Network injury update. See right there with the bases loaded. Took the ball off the helmet from Adam Ottavino, the Rockies reliever. Marte did continue in the game last night, being held out tonight for precautionary reasons. He may be available as a substitute or pinch hitter, pinch runner later in the ball game. Charlie Morton gets the ball tonight for the Pirates. The opposition hitting just .067 against the curveball. It's Brown Chuck and Uncle Charlie taking on Brett Anderson of the Rockies. Lineups and first pitch around the corner.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. By Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Time again for Bucko baseball, and here is Charlie Morton taking the mound tonight in a place where he has pitched pretty well, PNC Park, taking on the Colorado Rockies, a team he is 2-0 against in 4 career starts. Walt Weiss, the manager of the Rockies, this way. Brought to you by Honda. Charlie Blackmon will lead off. The All-Star hitting .306. Leads the team in hits with 107 and stolen bases with 18. Then Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki bats cleanup. Corey Dickerson in the 5 spot. The catcher Willeen Rosario. Then Charlie Culberson starting his 2nd ever game at first base in the major leagues. DJ LeMahieu is at 2nd base batting 8th. And the pitcher, left-hander Brett Anderson, will bat 9th. He will face the right-hander Charlie Morton, who's ready to throw some sinkers and some curveballs at the Rockies.
Start number 24, Charlie. He has pitched extremely well. Now, which Charlie we're going to see tonight? The one that really struggled against Cincinnati last time out before the break, or the previous start when he just dominated a very good St. Louis Cardinal team, 7 innings, no runs, and 1 hit. Well, I'm voting for Charlie to do well because I think that was just an aberration. I think he's been on a very, very nice roll after struggling early in the year.
Defensively for the Pirates, Josh Harrison, not Marte in left field tonight. McCutchen and Polanco, the other 2 outfielders. Alvarez and Mercer, along with Walker and Sanchez in the infield. Russell Martin completing the battery. Catching Charlie tonight. Kind of a cloudy night, overcast. It's been raining on and off throughout the day. A light rain, but an on-time start at PNC Park. Pirates' chance to win a series after taking the opener last night. And the first pitch to Blackmon is in for strike 1. Cool night tonight, 67 degrees, the game time temperature.
Well, that second delivery is more like it, downstairs. 80 miles an hour, and you mentioned the curveball for Charlie. What a nice contrast, because it seems in my mind not so long ago it was hard sinker, hard slider. He has really done a nice job with that curveball. A lot of break and a lot of less speed. Another example of that, 77 miles an hour on that breaking ball. And for Charlie, who is now out in front 0-2, that's the key, because now when he's out in front, they will chase very borderline pitches. In fact, bad pitches, just to not get called out on strikes. That's a big item. That's not.
Well, Charlie is going to hit guys. That's unfortunately part of his repertoire. He is the league leader in hit batsmen.
But you don't want that to happen at the top of the first when you're ahead of the leadoff batter 0-2.
That is his 17th hit batsman. A.J. Burnett, Johnny Cueto, and Alfredo Simon next.
Twice as many as the second place guys.
So base runner aboard, and again Blackmon.
He'll run too.
Yeah, he leads the Rockies with 18 steals. He's settled into his lead over there, held on by Gabby Sanchez. And the pitch to Nolan Arenado. In for a strike. Arenado hit in the 5 spot last night. Justin Morneau was going to be in the lineup, but then Walt Weiss had to reconfigure the lineup when Morneau came up with a sore neck, something he's battled with off and on this year. Arenado hitting in the 2 spot tonight.
Very routine toss over to first base. Charlie's got a quicker move than that.
Nolan Arenado ended up going 0 for 4 last night. He hit into a double play also in the first inning. Pitch inside to him. Fastball from Charlie. Took a little off it at 89. Well, the Reds lost today already to the Yankees in interleague play, so the Pirates a half game behind the Reds for 3rd place in the standings. Still 3.5 behind Milwaukee, who is now underway with Washington. So a win tonight for the Pirates. They catch the Reds in the standings. There's a bouncing ball to Mercer. Flips to Walker for 1. Gabby holds it. Double play. second consecutive game that Nolan Arenado has hit into a double play in the first inning.
Custom made. It doesn't get much easier than this at the beginning of the play. This was going to be pretty routine, 6-4, but then the throw really causes Gabby to have to stretch and struggle to stay connected with the base. And boy, he had it all stretched out. Tagged him on the way by. That's called doubling down. Protect your bet.
Two men out.
You feel that foot is giving away. Find the runner.
So he got tagged. Now here's a guy who had a rough night last night. First time in Carlos Gonzalez's career he had struck out 5 times in a game. All 5 times he struck out swinging. He had struck out 4 times in a game, 6 times prior to that. The last time in a game against the Cleveland Indians back in May, struck out 4 times, but never 5.
Well, if you're going to miss that far outside, you know, you got to think that Gonzalez is still being bothered by, he's wearing a bandage on that damaged finger and or hand, and that's got to affect your swing mentally and what you think might be happening underneath that glove. This guy's, he's simply too good to have that much of a problem.
3-0 pitch in for a strike call. 3-1 to Carlos Gonzalez. Came off the disabled list on the 11th of July. Against Minnesota, he missed 35 games prior to that.
That's nothing compared to their pitcher tonight. Brett Anderson missed 3 months with a broken finger that he suffered when he had a base hit, running out a base hit back on April 12th, and we'll talk more about that when he gets out there.
Payoff pitch. Walked it. Second free pass issued. First one by a walk. And anytime you put a guy on in front of Troy Tulowitzki, that can be dangerous. Tulowitzki now coming up, the National League leader in batting average. Second in home runs with 21. Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins hit one last night to take the lead at 22 home runs.
Well, he recorded the last out in the game last night. Maybe he can record the last out in the first inning tonight.
Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs, also with 22 home runs now. So 2 players ahead of Tulowitzki in the home run category. And former Long Beach State infielder takes strike 1.
Didn't want to see him last night in the 9th inning. It was such a weird game, and there was a runner at first base in a 2-run game, but Mark was able to get him.
A breaking ball. Buckled the knees of Tulowitzki for strike 2.
Brown, Chuck, and Captain Hook.
Charlie has 8 prior starts this year at PNC Park, a 2.13 ERA here. And in each of his prior 8 starts, he's pitched into the 6th inning. 2 men out. Gonzalez at first. And he strikes out Troy Tulowitzki.
Perfected.
Gregory Polanco will lead off for the Pirates in the bottom of the 1st. taken away by instant replay, too. Would have been his third hit of the game. Bottom of the first, Pirates will have their lineup like this. Brought to you by Toyota. Polanco leads off, and Josh Harrison hitting .300 with 15 extra base hits and 19 runs batted in over his last 40 games. McCutchen batting third. Martin again on the cleanup spot. Neil Walker bats fifth. Gabby Sanchez, Pedro Alvarez seventh. Jordy Mercer hitting eighth, and Charlie will bat ninth against left-hander Brett Anderson. Last year, he was the Oakland Athletics opening day starter, but that finger injury you were talking about has set him way behind this year. He's making just his fifth start.
Yep, he has never faced the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that injury occurred on April 12th, and he was on the shelf for 3 months or whatever the difference is, and made the start last time out after that long absence against the Minnesota Twins. Got knocked around in the first inning and then pitched well. The numbers don't look good. 5 innings, 5 runs. They all occurred, however, in the first inning.
The first pitch outside and low.
And they like him a lot if you can keep him healthy. I mean, he has had a medical history that'll, well, really get your attention. He's a 26-year-old left-hander out of Midland, Texas. 2 arm surgeries, a broken leg, broken foot, and then his finger business. Not a flamethrower. Throw you a lot of curveballs. Curveball might be his best pitch, but they gave up a lot to get him. So they're expecting big things from Brett Anderson. 0-3 overall this year.
2-0 in for a strike.
Folks taking cover already as a light rain is falling here. It was top of the first. It was doing everything but rain, and now it is raining.
Polanco chops that one foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Polanco can find his way on base. .265 hitter.
And fans of efficiency will like Brett Anderson. Kicking some mud off the cleats now, but he is a quick worker. What we hear.
Well, he is a coach's son. He had spent a lot of time in the dugout. His dad, Frank, the head coach at Oklahoma State. Ground ball to second. LeMahieu gloves it. And a close play at first for a routine ground ball at second.
They always are with Polanco.
And there is 1 out. So Polanco 0 for 1 to start the ball game. So bring up Josh Harrison now to face Brett Anderson. Good night for a poncho. Wouldn't you like to have the poncho concession tonight?
Yeah, what about Cisco?
Night like tonight would be a little drizzly, a little more than drizzly. A good crowd on hand, and the weather is cooperating somewhat, but it's still moist out here. 0-1. Josh takes a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. See a lot of sliders out of Anderson. In fact, you mentioned his dad, his coach, and wouldn't teach him how to throw a breaking ball until he was 14 years old. But little did his father know that his son had been experimenting with a slider prior to that.
That's what happens. It really does. The more you tell a young baseball player not to do that, sometimes the more they want to try.
Ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch from Anderson. Foul tipped in and out of the glove of Valine Rosario. Harrison stays alive.
A chance to go in and congratulate Josh on his trip to the All-Star game. And I said, was it as much fun as you thought it would be? And his eyes lit up and said, oh yeah, you bet. You bet. What a great experience.
1-2. That one caught by Rosario. Foul tip results in strike 3. 2 men out in the bottom half of the first inning. Pretty good pitch, center cut.
Yeah, but the speed taken off. Had Josh fooled a little bit. I think this is the year of the off-speed pitch. Curveball, changeup.
Let's see, he's a fastball there.
Yeah, 90 miles an hour. That's kind of near the top of his range from what we understand in terms of speed, but slider, curveball, a couple breaking balls to deal with. There's a curveball.
Just judging from the numbers that are available so far through the first 4 starts for Anderson. First time to the batting order, he'll rely on the fastball. 64% of the time he'll throw the fastball, 30% of the time the curve. And just 6% of the time the changeup. 1-2, 2 outs, bases empty.
Sometimes they teach these guys to now bury the breaking ball downstairs, but he got that one up and got away with it.
Arenado up with it. And that one gets away, and McCutchen is safe.
Was it my understanding that Culberson, this might be his 2nd game ever at first base?
It is. Last night was his first. He was a fill-in for Morneau. And out there again tonight. Justin not quite ready to go tonight.
They take a throw from Arenado off the glove of Culberson. Don't know how far he had to reach, whether he was pulled off. That's a tough situation for any first baseman to put that glove hand out in the path of the runner. Throwing error, I think, is appropriate.
Yes, and it will be charged to Arenado.
He was very good. He doesn't commit too many errors, but that is dangerous to reach in the path of somebody coming at you down the first baseline. You talk about hyperextended elbows and all kind of stuff.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo slowing down one of the fastest men in baseball, Andrew McCutchen. Kutch aboard, 2 down. 0-1 pitch to Russ. And shot right at LeMahieu. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. On to the 2nd, no score. Pedro Alvarez was working on some throws from third base with Nick Leyva, who is the infield coach. And he was under the watchful eye of his manager, Clint Hurdle, and general manager Neil Huntington, who came out to take a look at what was going on and talked to Nick a little earlier. He said he had a good little session. Said Pedro's mechanics are good.
What you saw there at the end was Pedro just slowing everything out, kind of phantom throws almost to a stop, saying, where's my release? And just trying everything he can do to find out what might be required to get this squared away. And to me, the bottom line for this whole Pedro Alvarez situation is that he cares. I mean, he cares a lot. And when you care a lot, you're going to get it fixed 90% of the time. And I have no lack of confidence that Pedro Alvarez is going to throw with a lot more consistency. I just think that's going to happen. I really do.
Corey Dickerson follows the first pitch off. And Steve, your story is well known. You had trouble with control,
throwing
and throwing with control. And what about the fact that people say, well, sometimes it can be above the neck and between the ears. What about the mental aspect of it?
Well, to me, it was all that, because I never had a sore arm or any of that sort of thing. But every case is different. So to apply his situation with mine would be grossly unfair. Plus, mine was 2 years. I mean, Pedro is struggling right now. I think you can describe his situation. He's in a throwing slump. Let's see what he does here.
Bare hands, throws, and Gabby can't hang on. Tough play. And Dickerson is aboard. That'll be a bunt base hit for Corey Dickerson.
Good release, and if it had been a little closer to Gabby, maybe it's a little more of a short hop that he can contain, but it bounced out in front enough where it made it a difficult play. But I think Pedro's going to. I think he's going to be all right. Well, I really do.
Just a caveat on one thing. He has 21 errors this year. 20 of them are throwing, but one of those throwing errors should have an asterisk next to it. Remember, the Brewers' backup catcher Martin Maldonado literally hit the cover off the ball the one night, and Pedro had to pick up this ball.
Maybe put a curse on it.
Where the cover was torn off it, and when he threw the ball, it just kind of died going over there. That wasn't his fault, but how else do you score that? So he got tagged with an error on that. But that should have an asterisk on it.
I just know that he, what I know, and I don't know him as well as a lot of people do, I don't think there will be any lack of work to try to get this corrected.
Rosario, ground ball wide to third, foul ball.
And my feeling is, too, the more you work on it, the more you're going to come close to getting things fixed. I don't think you correct anything by sitting around moping and hoping it'll just go away on its own. Pedro Alvarez is out there working on it, and that's what you expect. That's what you hope for, and that's what you get. That's why he was out there this afternoon.
Clint Hurdle today said he's trying to do everything he can to improve his mechanics. And there's a ground ball to him right there. Second for one, around the horn, double play. Perfect throw to second by Pedro. A nice turn by Walker.
All sharply hit. There is no lack of velocity on that throw to Neil Walker. And that's one thing I look at. If you're really jumpy and you really got the yips, you might throw that and you might try to lob it over there perfectly. He cuts it loose.
Clint Hurdle also saying that Pedro has played a more athletic third base than he ever has this year. Some of the plays that he's made with the glove.
Yeah, well, there's two aspects, catching the ball and throwing the ball, and there's been no problem at all in terms of him catching the ball. He's made some nice picks. He's gone to his left. He's gone to his right. The issue is throwing. It's simple.
Culberson a swing and a miss, 0-2. Last night, Pedro taken out for defense late in the game. That was part of a double switch where Josh Harrison had come in the inning before, the half inning before, to hit. And it's not something new. This is something that has gone on now and again throughout the season. Clint Barmas has been in there late for him a couple of times, part of a double switch and a defensive change. So it wasn't a brand new thing last night.
Right, but there's no dismissing the fact that it is a story in a tight ball game. He was scheduled to come up third. So I mean the situation exists. There's no getting around it, but he's working at it. And if hard work corrects it, it'll be corrected.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Culberson. 2 down. Pitch inside and popped out of the glove of Martin. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, if the double play is the pitcher's best friend, then Charlie's got a lot of friends so far. 2 innings, 2 double plays.
That's as many as you can get in 2 innings.
Well, we tried a couple of times last night, and
actually
it didn't happen.
Had a chance. I think it was a 5-out inning one time.
We had 2 chances for a double play. What does the baseball handbook say? Don't give your opponents more than 3 outs. Give them their 3 outs that are allotted. Start fooling around with giving them 4 outs or 5 outs. You're playing with fire.
3-2 to Culberson. Charlie Morton, the payoff pitch. Popped him up foul, first base side, and that'll make the seats.
Plus, my last statement on the Pedro Alvarez situation. I wouldn't wish my situation on anybody for 2 years. So, Pedro, rooting for you.
Three and two. Culberson awaits this next payoff from Charlie. And a bouncer to Alvarez. Up there. A run's a hit. That is it. An 11 pitch inning for Charlie Morton.
I'm Dan Potash with this Root Sports Game Break. The Buccos looking to gain some ground on the Reds, who are in action this afternoon against the Yankees in New York. Bottom of the sixth, 4-1 Yankees, bases loaded with one out. Kelly Johnson singles softly up the first base line, make that the right field line. Brian McCann and Carlos Beltran come in to score. 6-1 New York. The Bombers go on to win it by a score of 7-1. So yes, indeed, the Buccos can gain some ground. Let's head back down the street to Tim and Steve. Guys?
All right, Dan, thank you very much. The newly married Dan Potash.
Congratulations, Dan.
Looks like a new man. Sounds like a new man. Yeah. Neil Walker, 272 average, leading off the bottom of the second inning. No score. He follows it back.
So, yeah, good news in New York, and also good news in Washington, D.C. as the Washington Nationals just pounding Milwaukee 2-0 in the first.
Pounding him already?
Yeah.
One is in there for a strike. 1-2 to Walker. Walker's going to be swinging the bat from that side of the plate a lot in the very near future. Pirates will face a lot of left-handed starters. And down on strikes goes Walker. There's one gone for the Pirates in the second inning. And during the inning break, Gabby Sanchez, first baseman, having a chat with Pedro about throws over the first, especially on that one play. Bunt that Dickerson was able to reach on. Incidentally, Pedro started that double play after the Dickerson bunt. Alvarez is tops among National League third basemen in turning double plays now with 23. And there's only one other third baseman in the major leagues who started more double plays at third, and that is Josh Donaldson of the Oakland Athletics. He's done it 27 times.
Looking like an animated discussion in the dugout.
0-2 to Gabby. Gabby, a couple of hits last night, including a double. And a key hit in the eighth inning. Michael Martinez would pinch run for him in the eighth, and then Josh Harrison would come up with a sacrifice fly to get Martinez in for an insurance run. 1-2 to Sanchez.
Nothing like extended coverage in an insurance plan.
Yeah. Nice to have that extra run last night, especially as you mentioned with Tulowitzki up with a runner in front of him in the 9th inning with 2 outs. You never know with him.
And Gomez too, even though he's striking out all night, you know what he can do when he runs into a ball. Did I say Gomez?
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez.
2-2. That's inside. They appeal, and the first base umpire Marvin Hudson says no. Now the Rockies have a lot of O's. They got Arenado, they got Cargo, they got Tulo, they got Rosario, and Ottavino, who wears
0.
number O or 0. A lot of O's in Colorado. This gets away, and Galley will go down to first. The Pirates with a base runner now with 1 out. And here comes Pedro. Pedro hitting .237. 15 homers for Alvarez. Second most among National League third basemen, just behind Cincinnati's Todd Frazier. Frazier with 18. 101 career home runs, second most in Pirates history as a third baseman, behind Richie Hebner. Hebner had 120 of them. And a number of those when you were around, Steve.
Yep, the hacker. Great major league career, over 20 years for Richie Hebner as a big league baseball player.
Anderson's pitch. Pedro hits it past Tulowitzki off his glove into left center. And a base hit for Alvarez. Rockies are playing Pedro to pull, and Alvarez hit it to the opposite side of Tulowitzki.
Looked that curveball upstairs, and Pedro hit it hard.
Tulowitzki, the all-star starting shortstop for the National League. Pirates with 2 on and 1 out. Jordy Mercer will take a pitch up.
You know, you just wonder about the mindset when you're playing an infield position against a power guy, a pull guy like Pedro Alvarez. I wonder if you're just thinking pull and hits it on the other side of your body, and it just takes a while for you to get out of that mindset. Okay, I got to go the other way, because you're thinking that when he hits it right, he's going to hit it toward right field.
There's a ground ball backhanded by Tulowitzki, leaping through. Oh, called out at second base, and I suspect we're going to see Clint Hurdle come up the steps, and Pirates are going to take a look at this one. Now, from a distance, it looked like Alvarez was there in time, and we'll get a look on video here.
Tulo goes way deep in the hole, and then a strong throw creates the call. It's hard to get that much steam on the ball when you're up in the air. You got nothing to base your back foot on. Let's see what we can see here. The ball, the foot. No, we can't see the rest of it.
It's very close.
Yeah,
very close. And the Pirates elect not to challenge. So a fielder's choice will be recorded for Mercer. He'll be at first base. 6-4 force out at second. So we can see the ball being caught.
Yeah, it's a good call. The foot was just inches away.
So no challenge there. Pirates did challenge a call last night and lost. Was in the 5th inning on a stolen base by Corey Dickerson. So Charlie Morton coming up with 2 outs. And runners at the corners. Colorado's infielders can play back. Outfield playing shallow and over toward right. Some shot fouling out of play.
I like it. Looking for a fastball on first pitch. I still think that's one of your highest percentages as a pitcher going up to the plate. Charlie was a tad tardy on it. Not a bad approach.
No balls and 1 strike to Charlie Morton. There goes Mercer, and Morton fights this one off foul. Jordy will have to head back to first base. Brett Anderson, first ever start against the Pirates. First time he's ever started against a National League Central Division team.
Yep. And the Oakland A's liked him so much after his rookie year when he won 11. They gave him a 4-year deal. I don't know who's paying the freight for the rest of it, or if it's expired by now. 0-2,
and Morton lifts this one in the air to the second baseman, LeMahieu. Pirates get a hit, they leave 2. We'll go to the third. No score at PNC Park.
On the North Shore, I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. The big news coming out of Altoona last night was the performance of Adrian Sampson. Threw a 1-hitter and was just 2 outs shy of the first no-hitter in the history, 16-year history of the Altoona Curbs. We get a couple looks at the performance from Sampson last night. It was the first 9-inning complete game shutout for the Curbs since 2009. Brad Lincoln was the guy that did that. And General Manager Neil Huntington told me he has been just absolutely attacking the strike zone. This was the hit by Mike Yastrzemski, the double that ruined the no-hit bid. But Huntington said him attacking the strike zone with all his pitches, and he induces a lot of weak contact because he pitches ahead. Huntington did add that it was a shame, Tim and Steve, that he had come that far and lose it with just 2 outs to go. And Yastrzemski, obviously, if you haven't heard, the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski, he was called up just 2 days prior to that game from Single A. So interesting night. He had 4 hits. Yastrzemski did 4 or 5 hits in his 3 or 4 hits. I can't remember which it was, but anyways,
multiple
in his first
hits.
game. Yeah, he had a multi-hit game.
Yeah.
Sampson was a 5th-round pick in 2012. So how about the Pirates and what they've done with their drafts? Tyler Glasnow, Nick Kingham, Adrian Sampson now showing some potential at the Double-A level.
Yeah, lots of arms.
Good
lots
news.
of arms.
It's good news. Never have enough pitching stacked up.
I guess if you're going to have a no-hitter broken up, it's not okay, but it's maybe a little bit more easy to take when you know it's the grandson of a Triple Crown winner.
No, it's not.
Got the pedigree.
Nice try. Yeah, certainly is a
never
pedigree.
good. Never good to have one broken up. Yeah. DJ LeMahieu will take a strike. What's the farthest you went in a game with no hits?
6 2/3 innings. I still remember it against the Dodgers back in Forbes Field. You remember those things, of course. When people usually ask me, I say, "Well, inning in 2/3, and I was feeling strong." Got it in the 7th inning one time, just one time.
Bouncer to Pedro. target for out number 1.
Looks like the Rockies' approach tonight is try to test Pedro. See if the throwing is improved tonight. So far, it's a lot better. Now that time he took a little speed off. Most of the time Pedro gets those kind of things. He'll just load it up and just air it out. But maybe in certain situations he'll take a little off.
Here's Brett Anderson at the plate now as Pedro moves a little bit over and on the grass.
You know, it's the more I think about that last throw against LeMahieu, that's a pretty good test because, you know, sometimes you don't really have the confidence to take something off the throw. You just think you got to just air it out all the time, and that's when you know, you get those soft sailors over somebody's head. But that time, looked confident, taking a little speed off the throw.
Pitches outside to Anderson. 3 balls and 1 strike. It was with the bat that Anderson got hurt on the 12th of April. Leg out a base hit against San Francisco. Strike 2. Interesting, when he was 12 years old, Steve, Anderson was in a home run derby in a tournament in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, with Hank Conger of the Angels and Travis Snyder. And Anderson won the home run derby.
Well,
12-year-old home run derby.
Things change a lot for pitchers after you're 12 and 13 and 14 and 15.
Get a little older, you're all of a sudden not always the best kid on the team anymore. Slow roller to second. Walker charges. 2 gone. Pirate fans, we want to see how you root for the Bucks. Be our AT&T fan photo of the game. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger. The fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your Pirates pride. Submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our telecast. Perhaps you will have an opportunity to have yours shown tonight. Hashtag BucksFanPhoto. 2 men out. Nobody on, and the batter is Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He will take a strike.
By the way, later on I'll have a response to somebody who had a tweet or Twitter or whatever they call it.
I was going to ask you.
It was a little sarcastic. I'm looking forward to answering that particular fan who did not have his facts straight.
You have proof.
Yeah, this guy accused me of making a joke out of having my on-deck circle autographed up at the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I said that story, and I got the sarcastic Twitter. And the end of the Twitter was
a
ha
tweet.
ha.
It was a tweet.
Yeah. And a little ha ha at the end. So I think we can show the my ha ha at some point. There. That's hanging over the entrance to the theater in Cooperstown, New York, at the Hall of Fame. So that was a true story. Whoever you are, you made another mistake. Don't bother to apologize.
Apology accepted?
No.
No?
You're going to go high tech on me. Get your act right. I can say that because that's one of the true stories I tell. Well, I tell you, we are socked in. It's like we're playing this game in London.
Well, Blackman's staying alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For the Rockies center fielder, Charlie Blackman. Well, you told me that same story. Oh, it must have been, it was the last homestand you told me that story when we were over on radio one night.
Well, the great thing, our good friend and your former college classmate, Eric Sherman, and co-author, took that picture up in Cooperstown. Had to climb up on a rail to get it, but we got the authentic picture that we found. Thanks, Eric.
No Photoshop, no nothing. I mean, that hasn't been doctored at all, has it?
No, it has not. Don't know how it got there, but it got there.
All we need now is one of the holographic stickers from the Authenticator.
Yeah, we got Authenticator. By the way, what a great night to pitch. Visibility is near 0 here.
Foul down the left side. See, there's lots of black and gold in the stands, mostly gold with the yellow rain ponchos. On a drizzly, dreary night. 1-2 the count. The pitch. And fouled off. Blackman trying to stay alive. You know, Blackman and Andrew McCutchen are among just 5 players with 10 or more home runs and 15 or more stolen bases this season. Carlos Gomez of the Brewers, Brian Dozier of the Twins, and Jimmy Rollins of the Phillies are the other 3.
This guy also has 52 ribbies.
Charlie trying to put him away here. And he does. Morton picks up his second punch out of the ball game.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. By the Chevy Equinox and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
No score. Pirates and Rockies going to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Pirate Parrot looks like the Gordons of Gloucester fishermen. And how about this guy? He doesn't have a rain slicker.
Give me shelter. Bird under there. I like that shot because I've always tried to show that. That's where a ball can get wedged underneath on an outfielder, and that's always embarrassing. But
so can a bird.
Yeah, you get wedged under there. Just enough room to hide a wedge of baseball and give the bird a dry spot.
Polanco. Ground ball slowly hit. LeMahieu needs to fire on the first base to get him, and Polanco's 0 for 2. A couple of ground outs to DJ LeMahieu for Gregory Polanco. And 1 out for the Pirates in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Josh Harrison struck out swinging in the first. He's 0 for 1. Just a tick under 300 now, 295. Shows bunt, takes the ball upstairs. Well, you mentioned you got a chance to talk to Josh about his all-star experience. And make the experience like most people do. The first time you get in that clubhouse, you look around and you say, wow.
Yep.
Look at these guys.
It's a big wow. It's the best your league has to offer.
2-0 pitch.
And back in the day when there wasn't as much fraternization, you'd walk in there and you'd be on friendly terms with those guys for maybe the first and only time if you go to one all-star game. Now a lot of guys maybe share agents or whatever, have moved around to get a good bit more. It's a great experience for the first time to walk into that all-star clubhouse. greatest thing. Say, hey, I was in the same room with Henry Aaron. I was in the same room with Willie Mays, Seaver, Carl Gibson, all those guys. It's great.
2-2. Up by 3-2. Full count to Josh. Anderson's pitch. And shot. Oh, and a play by LeMahieu. Terrific play by DJ LeMahieu to steal a hit from Josh Harrison.
That was a terrific play. That ball was scorched. Not only gets it, and that's a heck of a job, but then it's like the PR jump pass photograph from a college quarterback. They're going to go up in the air, in flight, get something on it, and keep it accurate. All the components of a very, very, very terrific play.
Andrew McCutchen batting with 2 outs and nobody on. Takes a strike. That's reached on an error last time up. Barrel Automotive League leader stat on base percentage. Andrew McCutchen has been on base once tonight, so just trailing Troy Tulowitzki. They're 1-2 in the league. That's the appropriate outfit.
It is. Look like McCutchen fans in the garb that would indicate the Oakland A's.
To right center, that's down for a hit. 2-out single for McCutchen. It's the second hit for the Pirates.
Aren't the A's green and gold or green and yellow?
Yeah.
It's A's colors.
That's his crew liked it. Andrew McCutchen continues adding on to his hit total. 116 hits. Second in the National League, trailing only Miami's Casey McGee, who has 117 hits.
Former Bucko.
Yeah, McGee having a terrific year, a renaissance year for him. He spent last year in Japan, playing in the northern part of Japan, and ended up winning the Japan Series. Japan winning series team. Came back here, job with the Marlins, and is doing exceptionally well. Could have made a great case for McGee to be on the All-Star team too. Certainly there was a great case for him, but there's only so many spots. One and one to Russell Martin with a soft liner to LeMahieu to end the first inning. Fastball in the inside corner. Right on the edge, huh? Just didn't like it, but Anderson threw a pitcher's pitch. As far as holding the runner, what do you think of what Anderson is doing?
Well, you know, he's been around long enough. This is his 6th major league season, so he should have an awareness of the different things you can do. Takes a look from this angle. That knee comes up and kind of, that'll give you a pause over at first base. You don't know when he raises the knee whether it's going to come straight at you or going to turn back around to home plate. It's a thin line these left-handers walk, and they walk it confidently because they know they can get away with a lot.
Anderson pitched on Sunday against the Twins, gave up 5 runs in the first inning of that game. Hudson was on the move. 3-2 fouled off.
Getting a little slippery on the mound. Yeah, a little give. See that lead foot? Yeah, you see the slide. That'll throw things off.
Does that get in your head on a day like today?
Yep. You're in the back of your mind, you're concerned about your footing. Absolutely. Good point.
Kutch will take off with a pitch. Martin awaits the 3-2 again from Brett Anderson. Chopper toward third base. Arenado fires on to first to get Martin. One hit, one left. We'll go to the fourth. Still scoreless on the North Shore.
Pirates. Well, we saw Ensign Volquez throw a complete game in his last start in St. Louis before the All-Star break. In our Day Automotive This Day in Pirates history, Volquez threw a one-hitter against the Houston Astros, allowing just a Matt Downs single in the fourth inning en route to a 1-0 win. That day, Volquez said Downs checked his swing and ended up kicking a slow roller toward third base. Volquez thought he may have been given an error, but was not. But the interesting thing, Tim and Steve, that Volquez said to me was that his fastball command was better in his last start in St. Louis than it was during the one-hitter. And his overall control, he felt better in St. Louis than he did during that one-hitter. So either way, let's just hope it continues when he makes his next start Monday night against Hyunjin Ryu and the LA Dodgers.
Yep, Robbie would take either one of those performances. And by the way, Robbie, great job with the interview last night with the young lady and her dad down there when she got the baseball. That was a neat moment. He did a heck of a job.
Was she not adorable?
Yeah, absolutely. And the dad was, I mean, he looked like he absolutely adored her. A little kiss on the forehead. That was a neat moment. Well,
she saves the cotton candy and brings it home to her little sister. She gets the cotton candy, eats half of it at the ballpark, brings the other half home.
Well, she said she was going to bring it home. Now we need evidence because she was enjoying that a lot. But a nice moment. Well done.
Little Hannah.
Yeah. Said she comes to the ballpark because she thinks the Pirates hit home runs.
Good. They do.
Yeah. Reason enough to come to the ballpark.
Nolan Arenado, 2-ball, 1-strike count. Arenado, third baseman, leading off here in the top of the fourth. No score. Arenado, Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, 2, 3, and 4 for the Rockies. Strike call. It's 2-2. Charlie Morton had a tough inning against Cincinnati in his last start. Ground ball to short. One out. Just had the one bad inning, Steve, and but other than that, he was one over the minimum before that bad inning began. Make sure to join the Pirates for a paint party with Paint Monkey, July 21st. Tickets are $50 and includes a pre-game painting class and a ticket to the Pirates and Dodgers game at 7:05. For tickets to this or any other paint party throughout the season, go to pirates.com/paintmonkey.
Well, Charlie appears to be right on board tonight. He's only given up one hit. He's faced just one batter over the minimum as he works here in the fourth inning. Rolling right along.
Gonzalez hits this one in the air to shallow right center. Neil Walker out calling for it. 2 gone quickly. Neil had to go out and stare up into the drizzle. It's coming out of the Pittsburgh sky tonight. Started raining toward the end of the game last night. There was a mist, I guess, that really the fans down below couldn't even feel. The players couldn't feel it, but you could see it in the lights. And then once everybody was on their way out of the ballpark, the grounds crew came and covered the infield. They were expecting some rain and got some rain.
It rained fairly steady out in the South Hills a good bit of the evening.
And Andy Lopez in the middle. He is the head groundskeeper. He and his crew ready to go tonight, just in case. 1-0 pitch to Tulowitzki. He fouls this one off. He was up last night with a runner on and 2 outs. And over the course of Tulowitzki's career, he is 1 for 18 with 2 walks and a hit by pitch when he comes to the plate with 2 outs in the 9th and the tying run on base or at the plate. Colorado has lost all 21 of those games when Tulowitzki has been in that situation.
There's more evidence that everything is tracked. Everything is tracked.
Strike 2.
Mama hawk that ball. You know, this is one of those games tonight, Tim, where you really have to work to keep your concentration, because you know it's not much fun. It's drizzly. It's not comfortable. Well, there's a solid mound right there, as they were working on it in between innings, which they'll probably do a good bit of, if not every half inning.
1-2 pitch. A roller towards short. Charging is Mercer.
He's hurt.
And he throws on to first again. As Tulowitzki pulled up short. He might be injured. So the Rockies gone in order. It's Troy Tulowitzki feeling something right there.
Quad.
Troy Tulowitzki pulled up lame about halfway down the baseline, held on to his left hip. You'll see it here. And so he went directly down the steps and to the Rockies clubhouse. So Troy Tulowitzki is done for the night.
That's all Walt Weiss needs. Loses all-star, everything shortstop.
Walker will take a strike from Anderson. That's the frustrating part about the game, especially for a guy like Tulowitzki and a team like the Rockies too. They've had a lot of injuries to deal with, including Anderson, who missed 3 months. And Walker bounces this one on the line. That's a fair ball. Walker around first. He's into second with a leadoff double. Double number 13 for Walker.
Over third base and a piece of the chalk.
That's one of those plays, Steve, that even if Walt Weiss wanted to challenge it, it is not challengeable when it's in front of the umpire. Strike to Gabby Sanchez. Plus it was behind the bag. It went over the third base bag in fair territory as well. But
so we got
just a little chalk on the backside.
Yep, both covered. Over the bag, fair. A piece of chalk.
Just a review for the fans on the challenges, the replays. Ball hit down the line. The only ones you can challenge are the ones behind the umpires.
And you see
both the umpires.
Both umpires well in back of first and third base. So they are well back. If you have a ball that is borderline in back of them, yeah, but they're well back.
And if it's hit right at an umpire and he has to duck to get out of the way, that one would be able to be looked at. Anything in front? No.
You know, it used to be in most of the old ballparks. You say, well, this kind of weather situation, you want to get a run just in case, you know, it gets washed out. But with the surface here, if it stops, you're going to play. So it's not as much of an urgent matter because you're not going to lose too many games with this kind of surface here. The drainage underneath this field is that good. When it stops, you're going to play. 90%, 95% of the time.
Field looks great tonight.
Always does.
Considering the amount of water that they've taken on over the last 20 hours or so.
Manny Lopez and his crew always at the ready. Boy, they had a spring, early season spring that tested them.
Well, Gabby belts this one to left field. This ball is going to go into the seats on a hop for a double. And Walker will score the game's first run. 1-0 Pirates.
I want to see where that pitch was. It looks like he went way downstairs and got under it. And still got a lot of distance and a lot of carry. Check it out. Well, not as far down as I thought, but he still got under it. Gave it a good ride.
Back-to-back doubles for the Pirates produce the first run against Brett Anderson.
That boy had a lot of carry, a lot of strength behind it.
And now Pedro at the plate. Pedro with an RBI opportunity.
Rosario takes a shot. I'll tell you, it has been some kind of injury-filled season for the Rockies.
Right 100 innings. So he'll need a minute.
And well, we have a minute. Just want to mention again, open house at the Clemente Museum tomorrow before the final game of this series. And you can go down to 3339 Penn Avenue, the Clemente Museum, 10 to 2, open house. You will be happy that you did. It's one of the gems of our city.
That is a great place. A great thing to see.
Dwayne Reeder does a fabulous job there. Check it out.
Strike 2 to Pedro. In the 7th spot in the batting order this year. Pedro has had 58 plate appearances prior to this one. He's hitting .314 in the 7th spot. 239 overall, 15 homers. Gabby Sanchez with double number 13 and RBI number 16. Pitch outside. In fact, that was Gabby's first RBI in a long time, since June 2nd against the Padres. Getting Walker in.
Neil got it started late last night, did he not?
He did in the 8th inning.
Yep.
With a single. Sanchez followed him up with a single. And Travis Snyder made the pinch hit double. Scored Walker with the game-winning run. And a ground ball to short. Sanchez can't go anywhere. Rutledge flips onto first base and gets Alvarez. Oh, he mentioned the scene last night to Robbie, the interview he did with young Hannah. Well, she did. She took the Cotton Candy home. Her dad Andy tweeted this in.
Told the truth. Yep.
Cotton Candy made it home, watching the game right now. Nice job. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it very much. I hope your tennis bills aren't too high. Cotton Candy. That was neat, though.
One of those moments.
So 1 out and Jordy Mercer at the plate.
If Jordy can have a moment. Going to have to bring home the cotton candy. He just has to bring home Gabby Sanchez.
Pitch outside for a ball. Last 2 seasons, Jordy is hitting .361 against left-handed pitching. That is second among all National League hitters behind Atlanta's Chris Johnson, hitting .398. Starling Marte on the list too, .353. He's 5th. Adam McCutcheon 7th, .348. A couple of Oklahoma State Cowboys facing each other right now. Jordy Mercer and Brett Anderson. Of course, Anderson's dad Frank was the coach there. And that's the ground ball. Now they've got Gabby hung up. Gabby trying to stand a rundown to let Jordy replace him at second base. And Gabby tagged out by Willeen Rosario, the catcher.
Now they got him hung up. And at this point, this last throw, all they got to do is run him back to second base. They don't have to throw it anymore. Because you're going to wind up with 2 runners at second base. One of them's going to be out. They tag him.
So out on the base paths with 2 men out. Mercer went down to second base. Here's Charlie. Swing and a miss. The 0-1. Now it's 0-2 to Morton. Charlie hit a little fly ball to Nolan Arenado. Not Nolan Arenado, beg your pardon. DJ LeMahieu over at second base to win the second inning. Anderson's 0-2. That's inside. Blocked by Rosario. Catchers, Steve, have to be part catcher, part goalie.
These catchers, this day and age, are getting a workout with all these pitches down in the dirt, breaking balls. They want to bury the breaking ball downstairs.
Here's the 1-2. Charlie down on strikes. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Walker scores on the Sanchez double. Walker leadoff double. Gabby Sanchez drove him in with a double of his own. 1-0. Pirates with the lead as we go to the 5th inning. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Pirates.com for details. Well, Charlie's got a run to work with right now. He'll face Corey Dickerson, the left fielder, to start the 5th inning. Dickerson and the catcher, Willeen Rosario, and the first baseman, Charlie Culberson.
Speaking of Charlie, what a roll Charlie is on. He's faced one batter over the minimum. If you count the double play, 9 consecutive outs recorded.
Pitch to the left-handed hitting Dickerson. He's in for a strike. Dickerson bunted his way aboard in the 2nd inning, then was erased when Rosario hit into the around the horn double play. I believe it's been 2 whole innings since Charlie's had a double play.
That's good.
He had 1 in each of the first 2 innings. 1, 2, 3 innings since. And
just took all the opportunities away by retiring everybody.
Well, that's okay. 2 ground balls an inning for Charlie. Corey Dickerson came into the game with a .329 average. Lifted it to .332 after his bunt base hit. He's about maybe 74 or 75 at-bats shy of qualifying for the league leaders in terms of batting average. Having himself a pretty good season in Colorado. A lot of the hitters aren't. When you look at this Colorado roster, and again, unfortunately, Troy Tulowitzki left the game with an injury last inning. And we'll get some word to you on that as soon as we get it. But you go up and down this lineup, and it's a pretty good-looking offensive lineup.
Yep. Until you get them away from Coors Field. Address that subject with Walt Weiss in an interview that's going to be aired tomorrow. All filed away. And what a class act Walt Weiss is, and he has been for a long time. He played the game the way it should be played. He's been around a lot of great players, a lot of great managers. It's a matter of time before he was going to get a big league job, and there he is. But he says they've been trying to answer that whole subject for a lot of years, and he discussed various theories and thoughts a lot of people have.
Base hit to right. And a leadoff single for Corey Dickerson. 2 for 2 for the Rockies left fielder. Take a look at the home road splits. Worst road record in baseball, by the way, at 16-31. And a game under 500 at home.
That's the one that really gets me. Batting average, almost a 100-point difference.
2 runs a game difference at home as opposed to the road. They do have the humidor, which had an effect. The first time I saw a fly ball hit in Colorado, this was pre-humidor. Your jaw hits the ground, and you wait for it to come down. 5,280 feet above sea level. The ball flies, but the humidor was supposed to be the equalizer, and it has equalized it somewhat, but still
a big disparity.
Yeah, well, one other thing to keep in mind, too, that's a big field. There's a lot of grass out there in the outfield.
Well, Don Baylor had an interesting theory. There's a pitch that misses downstairs. When he was managing the Rockies, he had a lot of time, his outfielders, he had them play shallow. His theory was if they're playing back and the ball's over their head, it's going to be out of the ballpark anyway. He's trying to take the short stuff away.
When you look down the right field line at Coors Field, I believe it's 350 with a wall that's about as high as the Clemente wall. Now here it's 320, and it's still a poke to get it out. 320 and 21 feet up. I think it's 345, I want to say, down the left field line there. But there's just so much room in the outfield to drop in base hits. And yeah, the ball does fly. Still there. This one toward left center. Here's McCutchen sliding, grabbing it. What a catch by Andrew McCutchen.
His trademark, the good jump, getting over, getting down on that slide.
Well, Rosario probably thought he had a chance to get that one in the gap, but the gaps closed quickly with McCutchen in center field.
He's got that measured. And I'm thinking when he goes down in that slide, that still keeps the ball at eye level. So he's not looking down and running down and reaching down. And so that has become the Andrew McCutchen look on those line drives that would be appearing to sink down on the grass. They don't get there.
One out, Charlie Culberson up.
This is on a kind of a hazy night too, so you wonder about the contrast, the look the outfielder is getting with the ball coming off the bat. Certainly not a clear night. A little better than it was, but not a lot.
Culberson bounced out to Pedro at third base in the second. Runner goes. Martin's throw down is there in plenty of time. Dickerson declaring himself safe, but the ball got there about a minute before he did.
Yeah, his call really doesn't mean anything. But Wall's going to come out anyway, and they're going to maybe discuss that. Will they take a look?
Walker got it on the head, too.
Great mechanics once again by Russell Martin. Throw a little bit off the shortstop side, and Neal gets a kind of a fist up on the forehead or that area. Call stands as we thought it would. And a couple of nice defensive plays, one by McCutchen, one by Martin. Talked about cleaning up the defense in our tips to win in the pregame show.
Tagging right about there. Martin throws out another would-be base stealer. Two men out. Nobody on. Curveball in for a strike. 0-2 to Culberson.
Yeah, Russell Martin. Now look at it's an awkward. He's got to go out and get that ball, and then the exchange of the hand, and then get the throw off. That's a three-step process. He did it great.
Strikeout, 2-3 the put out to complete it. Runs a hit, that's it. As Martin guns down Dickerson trying to swipe second base. Inside Pirates Baseball 10 great series, we delve into the team's rich history to bring you the best of your Buccos. And on the next edition, count down the organization's most memorable meltdowns with appearances from Jason Kendall, Jim Leyland, and Lloyd McClendon. See the full list on Inside Pirates Baseball. 10 great Pirates blow-ups. Tomorrow at 12:30 on Root Sports. 1-0 Buccos heading to the bottom of the fifth. And Gregory Polanco's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second twice. Breaking ball for a strike. Some pretty good blow-ups on that list, I'm imagining.
That famous one of Jim Leyland going after Kevin Gross.
Yeah.
Jim's about, what, 5'8", something like that. Kevin Gross about 6'4". But Jim, Humperdinck didn't hesitate.
Well, if I remember right, Bob Walk was the other starter in that game.
Yeah, he was involved.
He was involved in that. Ended up taking a loss in that game as a result of somehow hitting a guy with a pitch.
Happens.
Just got away from him, I guess.
Happens.
1-2 to Polanco. Gregory trying to get on base. Top of the order up for the Pirates to start the bottom of the fifth inning. 1-0 lead. Brett Anderson's pitch. Polanco down on strikes. He's 0 for 3. Kevin Gross hitting a man. Now Bob, somehow that got away from Bob as he hits Gross. Bob is looking at him. Bob would enjoy the rest of the game from the clubhouse. So would his manager. Bruce Fremick throwing him out.
Yep.
Leland going after the pitcher. Gross. Wow.
Down slot involved there.
You can see more of that on the edition of 12:30. Much more calm, Bob Watt, than he was that night in Los Angeles. That's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons Pirates fans like Bob.
Yep.
Never back down.
Well, you did the right thing. He felt like his man was getting thrown at intentionally, so didn't throw at somebody's head. Kevin Gross and in the leg, thigh.
Two and one to Jay Hay. Playing left field tonight. Super utility man. It's got to be fun for him. Playing different positions. Here's the 2-1.
I got to talk to Bob about that, because just seeing that clip, and I've seen it a couple times. If the umpires didn't get involved, Gross was going to first base, it would have been over. They hit our guy, and Bob answered, protected his man by hitting Gross. Bob, if that's the case, if it could have been the end of it. If the umpires got involved, and that got Leland involved, and you get Jim involved, there's going to be involvement. In the meantime, after all this discussion, Gregory Polanco is getting some education from some of these left-handers that can throw really good breaking balls. And it's part of the process, part of the educational experience here at the big leagues level.
Here is the payoff pitch. Popped up, shallow center. LeMahieu wants it. There are two men out for the Pirates in the fifth. McCutchen coming up. Celebrate our 2014 All-Stars with great ticket deals for the Dodgers and Marlins series. Tickets in the bleacher reserve section are $22. And tickets in the upper bleacher reserve section are just $5. To get your tickets, go to pirates.com/dynamic. Number 22 has reached base safely twice. He's 1 for 2. Reached on a throwing error by Arenado in the first and a base hit in the third.
Did I see that right? $5 for...
Yeah, in honor of Jay Hay's number 5.
And there are no bad seats in this ballpark. Trust me, there are none. What a deal that is.
0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, those seats are occupied this evening.
And a great turnout.
It's toward the middle. Rutledge with the grab, throws to first, and a pick by Culberson. And the Pirates are gone in order. We'll head to the 6th inning at PNC Park. 1-0 Pirates. Great shots tonight from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo, and great shots from the downtown side of the Allegheny. Pirates with a 1-0 lead starting the 6th inning with Steve Blassine, Tim Never. Glad you're along watching Pirates baseball with us no matter where you are. Robbie Inchmikowski with us as well.
Well, Tim, remember when we said in the first inning, which Charlie are we going to see tonight? The one, the last start in Cincinnati, or the start before that in St. Louis? Well, meet me in St. Louis, Charlie. He is throwing a gem. He still has faced one batter over the minimum.
Ground ball to short. Mercer busy over there. And LeMahieu is out, one gone. LeMahieu's now 0 for 2.
And that extra batter, one over the minimum, was in the first inning. After that, he's faced 3 batters in the next 4 and a third.
Well, considering in the first inning he hit the first batter of the ball game, Blackman, and then walked the third man, Gonzalez. And the double play hit into by Arenado certainly helped him out. Then he struck out Tulowitzki looking. With 2 free passes issued. One of them was stranded on base. That's the only guy over the minimum for Charlie Morton tonight. Brett Anderson grounded out to Walker at second base in the 3rd inning. In the air to short left over by the line is Harrison. 2 down.
Charlie's grooving on a Saturday night.
High back at you.
Yeah.
He's got the baseball player's rope around his neck. See that rope necklace? Got to have that now.
It's supposed to give you more energy or something?
It does whatever you think it's going to do. Yeah, it's good for you, I guess. Charlie Blackman.
Have to give me one of those things.
It's 0 for 1. He struck out looking in the 3rd. Hit by a pitch back in the 1st.
I don't know what I'll use it for, but I'm going to get one of those things.
Here comes the 1-0. Ripped to right field and a base hit. Polanco will retrieve it, and Blackman with a 2-out single. 3rd hit for the Rockies in the 1st by a player not named Corey Dickerson. Dickerson has 2 hits.
So Charlie will be forced to go over the minimum here in the 6th inning, but hopefully not too far over the minimum.
Nolan Arenado up. He's responsible for 3 outs and 2 at bats. Hit into a double play in the 1st and then grounded out to short in the 4th. Pitch pulled past 3rd base for a foul ball.
And forgot about the pickoff possibility.
Yeah, that's true. They could stay at the minimum then. Yeah. Or perhaps caught stealing. Blackman does like to run. He leads the Rockies in steals with 18.
Caught stealing, pickoff, sure.
He's been caught 4 times. So looking for a fastball. Throw to first. I told you that the Yankees earlier today beat Cincinnati in interleague play 7-1. So a win tonight for the Pirates would tie them with Cincinnati for 3rd place in the standings. There goes the runner. Throw down by Martin is not in time to get him this time. Walker thought he had him. Quick release by Russell Martin, but Charlie Blackman now with his 19th stolen base. And the tying run in scoring position.
Good jump. That was going to be a tough one for Russell.
Ran on a breaking ball.
To his credit, he came closer.
Let's see.
Take a closer look.
It looks like he might be out. He got him on the elbow.
Yeah, wait a minute. We got
Clint Hurdle's coming out.
We got action.
Yeah.
He's out.
I think he's out.
No? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Pirates are going to challenge this one.
Yep.
So that's a freeze shot right there. Great camera work there. You can see the foot of Blackman not on the base yet. You can see the glove of Walker on the elbow.
This should not take long.
So the crew chief Tim Welke with the headset on the left. Clint Fagan, who made the call on the right. Russell Martin waiting to see this call overturned.
Keep Charlie String alive. Alive.
I think we showed you the definitive shot on the freeze frame. This
already got the hand on the headset.
We'll show this.
Here we go.
Right here on the big screen at PNC
Yep,
Park.
out.
The fans will react.
Yep.
It's been overturned.
Here we go. The string lives.
3 more batters come to the plate in the 6th. For the 9th time this year, Charlie Morton pitches through the 6th. At PNC.
Is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
The Bards with the Pyrotechnics getting in position for the postgame fireworks show. 1-0. Pirates with the lead. They like some fireworks offensively. Put some distance between themselves and the Rockies as Anderson delivers ball 1 low to Russell Martin, who has now thrown out 2 men trying to steal second base tonight. 5th time Blackman has been caught stealing. 18 times he's been successful. Blackman looked like he got a pretty good jump. A breaking ball, tough one to work with for a catcher. And see Walker tagging him on the elbow just before he got the foot on the base.
Yep, maybe kind of a little bit of a slow track with the rain, the mud, slowing you down a little bit because the jump was good, but Russell was better.
Martin has thrown out a major league leading 44 base runners since 2013. 2-2 to Russ.
Meanwhile, Charlie is pitching a gem, and we don't have much offense. Did he hurt himself a little bit, or just frustrated?
I hope he's just frustrated.
Grimacing.
He takes strike 3. And certainly frustrated now. Fifth strikeout for Brett Anderson. He'll Walker up, 1 out. Walker doubled and scored in the 4th.
What a pitching duel we have going here. 1-0 ball game as we play in the 6th inning.
Anderson, a very good addition for this Rockies staff. Unfortunately, they just haven't had use of him this year due to the injury suffered back in mid-April.
It's hard keeping him healthy. He's a good pitcher, but well, you look at that medical record as this ball's popped up, playable, comfortably in center field. I mean, you go back to the 3 months missed by the broken finger, but how about 2 left elbow surgeries? Not 1, but 2, and also a foot fracture. Just get this guy out on the field and he's fine. Tough getting him out on the field. That's a serious medical resume.
Gabby Sanchez, he's reached base safely twice, walking in the second inning and then driving in a run with a double that bounced over the left center field wall in the fourth, getting Walker home. 241 right now, the current average for Gabby Sanchez. 2-0. Tomorrow we'll see not 1 but 2 left-handers going at it. Gabby bounces this one toward third. Arenado, easy toss to first base, and for the second straight inning, the Pirates are gone in order. On to the 7th at PNC Park.
Pirates lead 1-0 over the Rockies. Morton takes mound for inning number 7. Well, I don't know if anyone's interested in a Bucko Blonde, but if you are, it debuts tonight. What's a Bucko Blonde, you wonder? It's a brand new beer in honor of that man, Ray Searage, the Pirates pitching coach. You probably wonder, how does Ray Searage get his own beer? Well, it's a relative of his wife that works for the brewery that made it, and they asked if Ray would be interested. He said okay, so they went ahead and did it. Now, we don't have the picture of the logo yet, but the logo is Ray making a mound visit, kind of with the silhouette, and you could tell that it's Searage that's on the mound. Now, all this is for a good cause. All the profits from Bucko Blonde sales go to Pittsburgh's Make-A-Wish Foundation, and on August 10th, the Pirates are having a beer and wine tasting.
And Arenado hits this one to the wall. And Nolan Arenado is in with a leadoff double. And now the tying run in scoring position.
Well, Nolan Arenado rudely interrupted what I was trying to tell you, Steve. You'd be interested in this.
Oh, am I ever?
It's August 10th. There's a beer and wine tasting going on here at PNC Park, right?
I'm not busy that day. What was it? What was the date?
And the Pirates are hosting it, and Bucko Blonde is going to be ready for consumption. So maybe I'll buy the first round, right, Steve?
You got it. You got it. I'll be there, Rob.
One note, right now it's only available via draft. Down the road, they want to make it available in cans. We'll keep you updated as Bucko Blonde once we find out more information about it, all right?
You'll get to me.
I'll find you that morning, August 10th?
No, find me more information.
Okay.
Got to make something happen in 3 pitchers or less. That's Ray's mantra.
Now the challenge. I liked it.
There's Gonzalez.
3 pitchers, not 3 pitches. I got you. I'm with you.
This Bugs Bunny curve right here.
Woo. Went a long way around the bend.
1-0 ball game in the 7th inning. Gonzalez at the plate. 0-1 pitch coming from Charlie. Inside, gets away from Martin, but runner going nowhere.
You know, where was this toe-to-toe match where you usually have to outscore the Colorado Rockies? 4-2 last night, 1-0 deep into this ball game.
They don't play many 1-0 ball games, especially in Colorado. They play a few, but not many.
Charlie's got, this is the Charlie challenge. But on the other side of Gonzalez, you don't have to deal with Tulowitzki.
Pirates have played the most one-run games among all major league teams. 39. This is the 40th currently they're embroiled in. Gonzalez swing and a miss.
And there's that pitch that I've been really trying to track a lot. A ball that's thrown in the dirt and is chased. Now that ball is nowhere near the strike zone, but I've seen more and more of those kind of scenarios. And the more you see them, the more the pitchers are going to do it. If they'll chase that bad a pitch, keep throwing it. It just continues to be a challenge for your catcher. You know about the 5 strikeouts last night? Boy, could Charlie use one against Gonzalez right here. See if he'll chase again. Don't go into the strike zone unless they force you to.
Outside, 2-2.
Tried to backdoor the breaking ball. A little too far outside.
Charlie's pitches per inning have been very efficient tonight. Prior to this inning, he has had 2 10-pitch innings, 2 11-pitch innings. Hasn't thrown more than 19 pitches in an inning, which he did in the 3rd.
And a lot of first pitch strikes.
2-ball, 2-strike pitch to Carlos Gonzalez. We'll get another.
Not a bad sequence, trying to get him look low, and then go upstairs a high fastball and see if he'll chase and come down empty, but you get a piece of it.
Right now, 6 pitches so far in the 7th. That's 16 in the 1st when he hit a man and walked a man, but the double play helped out. Efficient work tonight, inning by inning for Charlie Morton. This will be the 84th pitch coming up.
And when I say don't throw a strike unless they force you to, by that I mean force them to have a little more plate discipline and lay off those pitches. If they keep swinging at bad ones, well, then throw the bad ones out of the strike zone. And they're a little more selective. They're forcing you to throw strikes.
This is the 8th time this season Charlie has worked into the 7th inning. During the 7th inning this season, opponents are hitting 174 off of Morton.
And we're getting the rain again, which is a factor. Base hit to the outfield. Could have an outfielder picking up a wet baseball to try to throw it.
The pitch. Rope to right field and deep. This ball is back, and this ball is gone, and the lead is gone. It's 2-1 Colorado as Carlos Gonzalez has hit his 9th home run of the season. Charlie Morton has given up home run number 9.
And a 1-0 game, it can happen, turn upside down that quickly. Curveball in the go zone. And there it went.
Josh Rutledge hits a rifle shot into the stands for foul ball. Gonzalez knew it right away.
Sore hand and all.
Rutledge at the plate took the place of Troy Tulowitzki after the 4th inning. Tulowitzki grounded out to short to end that inning, and then came up lame and left the ball game right away. We still did not have any word from downstairs on the health of Troy Tulowitzki. see as he headed down the baseline, all of a sudden, up. He went straight to the clubhouse. And Rutledge lifts this one to left center field. On the run, McCutchen. Wow.
You know, Charlie was pitching so good, it almost had the perception, the feel that the Pirates were in control of this ball game because he was in such control. But the leadoff double, the home run, that quickly it can change. I'd like to get Charlie through this 7th inning. He's scheduled to bat 3rd. A couple more outs so that if they hit for him, and it seems at this point pretty likely, he will still have a chance to get off the hook, or maybe the Pirates score some runs and put him in line for a win. But he's still got work to do here in the top of the 7th.
Nothing in 1 to Corey Dickerson. A little number toward the mound. Charlie's got it. There are 2 gone. Time to take a look at our AT&T fan photo of the ball game. Keep those submissions coming on Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. Reagan sending that in, raising the Jolly Roger in the Centennial State, Colorado. Probably on top of one of those 14ers. Great photo. Lynn Rosario, the catcher, up. McCutchen made a great catch on him in the 5th inning. He also has hit into a double play tonight. 0 for 2 for Rosario. Lifts this one into shallow left field, and out there is Mercer. The Rockies go in order after the double by Arenado and the home run by Gonzalez. And at the 7th inning stretch, the Rockies have taken a 2-1 lead.
We invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Carlos Gonzalez has spoiled the Pirates' lead with a 2-run homer in the top of the 7th inning. Now the bottom of the 7th, Pirates looking to get the run back and then some. Pedro Alvarez will lead off against Brett Anderson, who has been matching Charlie Morton tonight.
And he's got the edge.
One of those things is just hang around and Keep your team in it. You never know what your hitters are going to do for you. So Morton, with the 2 runs given up prior to that, had been very, very, very good. The double and the home run successively by Arenado and Gonzalez have changed the outcome of the game, at least to this point. But Pirates have an attitude of this is when the fun begins in the 7th inning. They've come back a lot of times this year, including last night from a 2-1 deficit.
You know, early in the game, Tim, you were mentioning the fact that Brett Anderson got knocked around in the first inning in that first start after being away for 3 months against Minnesota, but then was good after that. He hasn't looked back after that first inning. He's been very, very good the rest of that, and he's been absolutely terrific tonight. I didn't notice it so much because Charlie was so good, but this guy has been doing a lot of pitching.
Well, Anderson's teammate Troy Tulowitzki got word on his situation. A cramp in the muscle of his left thigh forced him from the ball game in the 4th. Pitch outside to Pedro, and the count full, 3-2.
Well, that's got to be better news for the Colorado Rockies. A cramp instead of a pull or a stretch or whatever.
The tensor fascia latte in the left thigh.
Latte, isn't that a coffee drink?
That's what I'm told. 3-2. Foul ball.
Well, let's get a base runner. Pedro on base and go from there.
3-2. And Alvarez awaits the pitch from Brett Anderson. And he strikes out on the breaking ball. Good looking pitch from Anderson. And Alvarez now 1 for 3.
Not afraid to go away from the fastball. Not a great looking breaking ball, but the fact that it was a breaking ball instead of a fastball. Pedro looking.
Action in both bullpens. Ernesto Friere pitching in the pen for the Pirates.
Listening up on his birthday. Did I hear it's his birthday today?
Yeah, 29. Tommy Kahnle going for the Rockies right now. Mercer takes ball 1. Wouldn't it be nice to be 29?
How about 49?
I can't wait till I get there.
49. I'd take 49.
Two 2-0 to Jordy.
And speaking of this day a lot of years ago, Cy Young won his 500th game. Don't think they're going to break that record. I think he wound up with 511. Juan Marichal made his debut on this day in 1960 with a 1-hitter over the Phillies. He didn't look back for a lot of years.
2-1 to Jordy. Always neat when you go to AT&T Park in San Francisco and you go in the players' entrance. And you see that big statue of Juan Marichal with a spike, the late kick, and the
way up,
foot way up in the air.
Yep.
Neat.
First thing you saw when he wound up was the bottom of his shoe.
2-2. Did you get any hits off him?
No.
Did he get any off you?
No. I know they're going to look this up.
Fair match then. 2-2 pitch. And Jordy down on strikes. Rosario will pick it up, throw down to first to complete the strikeout. And Anderson seems to be getting stronger as the game is going along, as Anderson has now retired 9 in a row.
There's another ball way down in the dirt that's chased. I wonder if they can keep track of that. They keep track of everything else. Swings and misses on balls that are in the dirt, either behind or just in front of home plate, down that low.
Well, Michael Martinez, 0 for 5 in the big leagues this year, pinch hitting for Charlie Morton. So Martinez getting an opportunity to come off the bench. Morton is done. Double barrel action now as Jared Hughes has joined Frieri in the Pirates' pen. Martinez, the former Philly farmhand. He's been up and down with Philadelphia. This year signing with the Pirates. It's his second time up. Actually got a start on the 13th of June in Miami against the Marlins. Way late on that one. It's 2-2. Martinez is a switch hitter, batting right-handed against the lefty. Three balls and 2 strikes. Unless the Pirates can scratch out a run here with 2 outs, Charlie Morton will be on the hook. Payoff pitch to Michael Martinez. And the Pirates are done in the 7th as Brett Anderson strikes out the side. 2-1 Rockies heading to the 8th.
Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
On this week's edition of Inside Pirates Baseball, we're taking a look back at the best moments from the first half of the season. Relive McCutcheon's MVP presentation, Polanco's Major League debut, Harrison's big day in New York, and much more. It's the best of Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. 2-1 Colorado heading to the top of the 8th tonight. These guys practicing their swing. They get their turn later. It's Ernesto Frieri taking over for Charlie Morton.
Early numbers, not dazzling, but they are early numbers.
Frieri will face Charlie Culberson to start things off in the 8th. Last time out on the 12th at Cincinnati, faced 2 batters, walked them both. And Justin Wilson had to come in and had to work hard to get out of it. Brett Anderson, what a finish he had in the 7th, striking out the side. He retired 10 in a row.
I would guess that he's done. It looked like he had his spikes in his hand.
He did. Anderson with 112 pitches. Walt Weiss will sit him down the rest of the night. He is right now the pitcher of record for Colorado, thanks to the 2-run home run by Carlos Gonzalez. 0-2 pitch to Culberson. Strike 3 call. Got him. Ernesto Friere with a good start to this outing. Second time tonight, Culberson's down on strikes. A good looking pitch.
Nicely received by Russell Martin to not have the glove go down after he caught the ball, kind of bringing it up, at least holding it solid. Another great turnout.
37,396. DJ LeMahieu takes strike 1. He's 0 for 2. Couple of ground outs. 1 to third, 1 to second. Oh, 1. Missed off the corner. Well, Steve, we were talking about Juan Marichal and how you did against him and how he did against you. Of course, all you have to do is ask these days, and the numbers appear.
Oh dear.
Swing and a miss, and LeMahieu behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Juan Marichal versus Steve Blass. 0 for 6 with a strikeout.
How about that?
No hits off of you. And Steve Blass against Juan Marichal, 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI.
That's right. One thing, a lot of things I remember about Marichal, but when Herman Franks was managing the Giants, whenever Marichal pitched against the Pirates, Herman Franks was asleep most of the game because he never took him out. I mean, he could give up 9 runs and he'd leave him in there, and somehow he'd do well against the Bucks.
Ground ball to second, and Walker will throw out LeMahieu.
2 for 5, huh? With a ribby.
Yeah.
Against El Presidente.
Rex Brothers, the left-hander on the right side, and the right-hander on the left side is Adam Ottavino. 2 outs, and Brandon Barnes will bat for Brett Anderson. Barnes was the return from Houston in the Dexter Fowler trade. They were traded straight up for one another in the offseason.
Good to get Anderson out of the game. Talk about that bullpen you mentioned.
Rex Brothers last night ended up going just a third of an inning, giving up 2 hits and a run. Ottavino 2/3 of an inning, and Ottavino was the one that hit Starling Marte on the helmet with the bases loaded, and that tied the game. But because Rex Brothers had put the other runners on, that run was charged to Brothers. And then Matt Belisle came in after that, and he was charged with the loss after the Pirates picked up 2 runs in the 8th inning. One and 2. Friere striking out Culberson, getting LeMahieu to ground out. Ernesto wears his age on the back of his jersey now.
Well, we saw how quickly the score turned upside down in the Rockies' favor. But still a 1-run game. You don't think Walt Weiss has got this game in the win column yet, do you?
Rain coming down.
Doesn't work that way.
A little bit harder now. 2-2. Up and in, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ernesto Friere has worked less than an inning in each of his last 5 appearances, trying to get through a full inning here. He's going through 2/3 of it. And the payoff pitch coming to Barnes. Got him.
That's better.
1, 2, 3 go the Rockies. 2 strikeouts for Ernesto Friere. Heading to the bottom of the 8th, 2-1 Colorado. All kids 14 and younger take home a Gregory Polanco poster thanks to Cottonelle, Viva, and Giant Eagle. Come early for the #1 Conference Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. Presented by Kennywood. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. Final game of this 3-game set tomorrow afternoon. Pirates trying to come back and put themselves in a position to sweep. They're down by a run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they will face left-hander Rex Brothers.
And it'll be interesting to see this matchup if Gregory Polanco really gets any good-looking fastballs to hit, because as this season is going on, we're seeing more and more lefties with more and more off-speed stuff to the Pirate right fielder. So we'll see how that affects this at bat.
I told you earlier, Brothers went just a third of an inning in the series opener last night. Polanco takes ball 1. In Washington, by the way, the Nationals are beating the Brewers 7-1 in the 6th inning.
Good news.
Cincinnati has lost today to the Yankees by that 7-1 score. Cardinals winners over the Dodgers 4-2. Inside for a ball. Yasiel Puig left the game for the Dodgers today with a hand injury. Matt Holliday left that game with the precautionary reasons, so hit in the head and make sure that it's not a concussion. But two key players leaving the game early in that one.
Gregory got a fastball there upstairs. Still ahead in the count, 2-1. Two
balls, 1 strike to Polanco. Brothers pitch. Called off again, and it's 2-2.
So we're seeing some fastballs. Will that continue?
Polanco has reached base safely in 27 of his first 34 major league games. He's 0 for 3 tonight. To left field, and waiting for it is Dickerson.
So the target was outside. The pitch was delivered outside, and Gregory went with it, hit it solidly, but the pitch was good enough where couldn't get it the way he wanted to.
And that was the only man that Brothers was going to face. So Walt Weiss calling for the right-hander Ottavino now to face Josh Harrison. We'll have a pitching change at PNC Park. We'll be back. Bottom of the 8th, 2-1. Rockies lead it. Well, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Josh Harrison getting set to face number 0, Adam Ottavino. Sprinkly night here in Pittsburgh. Ottavino pitched 2/3 of an inning last night. He was the one that hit Marte in the helmet with the bases full.
Okay, operative number here. Well, we missed it. Let me get it over here. Somewhere. 5 home runs he's given up.
Third time's the charm.
Trust me.
And the breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1 to Harrison. Josh 0 for 3 tonight. So the top part of the order is 1 for 9. McCutchen is the only hit. Yeah, one swing would be good here. The loop on the blast would be better in the 8th.
You know, hitting a guy in the head affects pitchers, different pitchers in different ways. After he hit Marte, he promptly struck out Andrew McCutchen last night.
This one goes to the backstop, 2-1. He expressed remorse after the game. He didn't mean to throw that pitch where he did. He wanted to throw a fastball up, not up and in the way that it went to Marte. Certainly no intent suspected on either side. Three and 1. So Buccos need a base runner. And Josh now in a hitter's count. 3 balls, 1 strike. McCutchen lurking on deck. Too much time for Jay Hayes' liking. He asked for and got time. Aline Rosario for a fastball here. And Jay Hayes fouled it off the handle back to the screen.
One of the most impressive things about Anderson tonight was how many times on 3-2 counts he threw a good curveball and got those strikeouts. A good many of them. Not afraid to go away from what they might be expecting with a fastball, threw the hook and did it effectively. It was a good pitch for him.
Ball 4 and the time runs aboard. A 1-out walk issued. That's to bring up McCutchen. What do you say right now? 1 time, Andrew.
Hey, Gonzalez did it. Turned it upside down quickly. We can get it back upright. Run into one. Heavy air. What do they say? The dew point measure how heavy the air is. Well, it's 1,000 tonight. It's been either raining or really close to it. So you wonder how that affects the flight of the ball.
321, 17 homers, 61 RBIs for McCutchen. Tying run is Harrison at first. There's the pitch. Ball 1.
Kind of interesting to watch Ottavino too, because he really reaches back. That takes time. He goes way back before he brings his body and his arm back toward home plate. You wonder if that would affect any decision to turn Josh loose. He goes way back before he comes forward.
93-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-1.
Nick Ladle will be looking into the dugout after every pitch. Signs he gives may mean something or nothing.
Harrison jumping off of first base and Ottavino stepping off.
Wow, that was arrested moment. An arrested moment. Gonna go? No. Gonna go back, and then we'll step off. Everything shuts down.
Jay thought he might have had a chance to get into scoring position. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now everything's out of rhythm.
Yep.
Now really out of rhythm.
You got to have a visit now. Visit to the mound. Why not? Everybody gets settled down.
After that fake attempt to go to second base, to step off, and now we got the whole new ball game.
Candlesticks make a nice gift.
That's right, Robert Wall, pitching coach, Bull Durham.
There were a lot of issues going on at that time.
All right, we'll reset.
Inside.
Now to add to the possibility, 2-1 count. They have a popular count on which to run. We're certainly not playing Andrew to pull the ball, as Dickerson in left field way over toward left center field. So there's a lot of room in the corner to get out in front of one.
Snyder goes to the backstop, and down to second base will go Jay Hay. Wild pitch. Ottavino gets Harrison to second base with the wild pitch, and now the tying run in scoring position.
Very wide. Not only a wild pitch, but it takes the count of 3-1 for Andrew. Will they walk him? Finish it off?
They'll have to walk him to put the go-ahead run on.
Yep.
They will pitch to him. Touching 1 for 3 tonight. This is also a good hitter's count, 3-1. And a strike and a count full.
Again, going away from the fastball.
That time he started that breaking ball way inside as opposed to the last one that went to the backstop.
Yeah, Andrew would kind of like to have that one back. Another look at it.
Harrison at second base in a 2-1 ball game. Rockies up. 3-2 pitch to McCutchen. Time is called. Ottavino was a bit too fidgety out there. He had the second baseman LeMahieu hinting that he was going to sneak towards second.
Go through the signs again.
Different set of signs with a man at second, you'd assume. 3-2. Inside, ball 4, and the go-ahead run is aboard with 1 out. Back-to-back walks by Ottavino coming out of the bullpen. Well, the bottom of the 8th inning, 1 man out. Along with Steve Blass, I'm Tim Never. Robbie Inch Mikowski is with us also. Carlos Gonzalez, 2-run home run in the 7th inning. Overcame a 1-0 Pirates lead, made it 2-1 Rockies. Brett Anderson, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Big night for Anderson. Gary Sanchez RBI double, scoring Neil Walker in the 4th inning. Pirates had back-to-back doubles in the 4th. And Charlie Morton, another solid outing, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He struck out 3. And with 1 out here in the 8th, the Pirates threatening the tying run in scoring position and the potential go-ahead run at first for Russell Martin, who is 0 for 3.
And all kinds of speed on the base pass.
Martin has faced Adam Ottavino twice in his career. He's 0 for 2 against him. The Pirates for the second night in a row trying to overcome a 2-1 lead late.
And you catch a gap here and you can grab that lead right back. Andrew McCutchen can get as much of a lead as he wants.
Strike one to Martin. Started him off with a fastball. With one out, see how the Rockies are playing the Pirates with first baseman Culberson way off the bag and second baseman LeMahieu cheating the bag at second. Outfield slightly over toward right center. A lot of room down the left field line for Martin.
Looks like they want to crowd him. They did with that first pitch. Let's see where Rosario sets up. Don't want to go back out after the inside delivery. Boy, that's a couple perfectos right there.
Wow. Gets ahead 0-2. Just slung a fastball in there at 95. Russ, a very good fastball hitter. Facing an 0-2 count. Ottavino with some room to work. Time is called with LeMahieu dancing around behind Harrison. And that gets in the batter's eye, so that's wanted time.
Well, Ottavino came into this game with 44 innings and 47 strikeouts, so he's no stranger to getting some heat by the batters. Good. That's a good job of staying alive after the first two pitches that Russell saw that were perfect fastballs. Good looking breaking ball, and he was able to adjust, spoil it.
Walker on deck. Neal with a double and a run scored tonight. 1 out, 2 on. Cutchin at first, Harrison at second. Ottavino ready to go. And the 0-2 pitch coming to Russell. Up high for a ball.
That's pretty good discipline too.
Another fastball.
94, 95 miles an hour. It's not easy to lay off that pitch.
One ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch from Ottavino. Low for a ball. The count is even, 2-2.
Good stop, critical stop by the Rockies catcher, Rosario. That might have bounced right off home plate. That ball catches the front edge of home plate. Who knows where it's going to go? So many pitches thrown in the dirt.
Back to the bag, and the crowd responding to Ottavino's move towards second. Sellout crowd tonight, 12th sellout of the year, 37,396. Back-to-back sellouts in the series so far. Here's the 2-2 to Russell Martin. The count is full at 3-2.
Good at bat by Russell so far.
Charlie Culberson, the first baseman, will come over and have a word. And now Martin facing a very big payoff pitch in the 8th inning. Tying run is in scoring position.
Maybe the pitch of the game.
Runners go. And Martin, a ground ball toward the hole. Throw to third. Jay Hayes back. Everybody's safe, and the bases are full of bucks.
What an at-bat for Russell Martin. What an at-bat for Russell. Got in the hole early and fought his way on. Let's take a look at this at-bat, pitch by pitch. Good pass ball. Gets the call. Another perfecta. Inside, outside, and then the fun starts. Fouls off a good breaking ball, stays away from good high heat. Downstairs again. And then taking that ball outside, pulling it back deep in the hole. And now it really gets interesting. What a good at bat for Russell.
Well, Walt Weiss will come out and relieve Adam Ottavino of duty. Tommy Kahnle coming in to pitch with the bases loaded and 1 out when we come back. Pond, 3 of them, 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning. And Neil Walker will get to come up and bat left-handed against right-hander Tommy Kahnle, who also appeared briefly in the game last night.
Opponents with just a 183 batting average against him, 51 innings, just 32 hits. But in those 51 innings, he's also walked 22. That's a high number, and the Pirates have the bases loaded. Couple of wild pitches thrown, in case you're interested in that number, and in case you're interested in this other number, he has given up 4 home runs.
So Josh Harrison is the man they need to get home right now. He is the tying run. The go-ahead runs in scoring position. McCutchen at second, and Russell Martin with a base hit is at first. So the base is loaded for Neil Walker this season. 1 for 10 with the bases loaded, but over his career, a .383 hitter with the bases full. So Neil's due in this situation in 2014.
Well, Kahnle has also given up a walk-off home run, and wouldn't that be a wonderful sight here on fireworks night, or less than fireworks? So the Pirates in position.
Kahnle getting set. Bases full. The pitch to Walker. Swung on a base hit. Harrison comes home. McCutchen around third to the plate. He's out. An RBI single for Walker. Pirates tried to get the lead, but a good throw from Gonzalez retires McCutchen at the plate. And it's a 2-2 ball game.
Neil looking fastball, first pitch, getting it right in the middle of the strike zone. Good hitting area, and rifles it. It gets out to Gonzalez very quickly. Pirates get the first run in. And Gonzalez has been a real issue for the Pirates tonight. The 2-run home run and then this terrific throw into home plate. Is Clint arguing that he didn't, Andrew didn't receive a clear line to come to home plate.
Well, we're going to see here. They're going to take a look at it. This has to be a crew chief review if they're going to look at Rule 713. And was Rosario giving him a lane to score here? So the umpires will review this one. I don't know. I guess it's worth asking if you're Clint Hurdle, but there's no interfering with the baseline there. So play is just as we saw it. And now Russell Martin is at third base. He represents the go-ahead run. And Neil Walker with an RBI base hit has tied this game. And at the plate, pinch hitting for Gabby Sanchez. He's the man who got it done in the late innings last night. Travis Snyder. Snyder had an RBI double in the 8th inning to score Walker with what turned out to be the game-winning run. Chance to do it again. He's got 11 pinch hits this year.
Well, you might say, why did the Pirates risk sending Andrew McCutchen? Because you got a chance to steal the baseball game, and it still takes a great throw from right field. I kind of think it's worth the risk. You got a chance to win the ball game right there. Andrew has great speed. It took a great throw. Gonzalez made it.
Snyder takes ball one. Brandon Barnes for the Rockies and Reed Johnson of the Marlins tied with Travis Snyder for the lead in pinch hits in the National League. Former Bucco Ryan Domit now with the Braves with 8.
Russell Martin getting over to third base. That could be critical. You get a ball that gets by the catcher.
1-0 to Snyder. 1-1. Walker got his second hit this year with the bases loaded. He's now 2 for 11. Another RBI. That's what the Pirates expect out of Walker, to drive in runs. Neil's always been a run producer. For Walker, his 44th run batted in. Neil 2 for 4 tonight.
Both starting pitchers will come away with a no decision after pitching extremely well. That's secondary right now to who's going to win this baseball game. The Pirates took a shot, didn't work, but they're still in business.
1-1 pitch to Travis Snyder. Strike 2. Canely gets ahead of him. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th. 2-2 ball game. Pirates with 6 hits and the Rockies with 5.
Back to square one. Even. Back to square 2. 2-2 ball game.
One, 2. Struck him out looking. And Snyder not very happy. But the Pirates tie it up after 8 innings. Neil Walker ambushing Canely with first pitch RBI single, scoring Josh Harrison. Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon. The Rockies will send Tyler Matzik to the hill. He's 1-4 with a 4.97 ERA in 7 starts. Jeff Locke gets the call for the Bucks. He's 2-1, 289 his earned run average. And hopefully he'll be able to carry that first half success into the second half, which he wasn't able to do last year. But Locke has looked terrific. So, battle of lefties tomorrow afternoon. Ike Davis playing first base now for Gabby Sanchez. And the new pitcher is Mark Melancon. 2-2 as we go to the 9th.
Back where we started.
Neil Walker trying to get it done. Got it done with a base hit. And McCutchen trying to score from second base. Carlos Gonzalez with a rocket from right field, right to William Rosario. Plenty of time to get McCutchen.
And it might have been the problem might have been that Neil hit it too sharply. It got out to Gonzalez very, very quickly.
Top of the order, due up.
Mark got it done for the save for Tony Watson last night. Leadoff single. He gave up, but then retired the next 3. Put that baseball game as it was to bed.
Blackman pops the first pitch up. Here's Pedro. 1 pitch and 1 out of the top of the 9th. It cost Blackman a bat. 1 pitch and 1 broken bat out for Mark Melancon. Nolan Arenado, who had the double in the 7th inning to lead it off, and then he would come around on Gonzalez' home run. Pitch in there for a called strike. Arenado hit into a double play his first time up in the first inning. Grounded out to Jordy Mercer in the 4th. On the double, so he's 1 for 3. And now it's no balls and 2 strikes.
The ageless one, LaTroy Hawkins, 41 years old, in his 19th Major League season.
Garrett Cole. He's on the disabled list already. Doesn't need to stay on there.
The right cross to the chin with it, ball.
0-2 to Arenado. And time is called. Would you like to see more umpires just not grant the batter time when the pitcher started his windup?
I've been hoping for that for about 54 years.
Strike 3. Got him to chase one. Got him on 3 pitches. So 4 pitches so far in the inning for Melancon, and he has recorded 2 outs.
That's the chase. And that's the result.
And now Melancon will face Carlos Gonzalez, who's 1 for 2 with a walk and a 2-run homer. And his 33rd and 34th RBIs of the season. And a broken bat roller Walker. How about that? A 5-pitch inning for Mark Melancon to the top of the 9th. Pedro Alvarez leads off 2-2 after 8.5. You on the field and inside the clubhouse for game reaction from the team. Clint Hurdle and our Root Sports analysts. Pirates postgame presented by Allegheny Health Network. Coming up after the game on Root Sports, Van Potash and Ken Maka in the studio tonight. And hopefully we get to them quickly.
Yes.
Which would mean good things.
Yep.
2-2. Pirates in walk-off territory now.
Pedro could get us to Ken Maka and have a little fun with a big, quick finish.
Pedro Alvarez, first career walk-off home run, came against these Colorado Rockies a couple of seasons back. And the pitcher who served it up was just traded yesterday, Houston Street, who was sent from the Padres to the Angels. Say that was what, August, I'm going to guess, August 7th or 17th, 2010. I'm going to guess. But that was then, and this is now. And Pedro with one hit tonight, 1 for 3. At the plate, representing the winning run. Tommy Kahnle, the pitcher, facing Pedro. There is a buzz around PNC Park right now.
Yeah, because they're thinking one thing. They're thinking long ball.
Ground ball to second. And one pitch and one out in the bottom of the ninth. Pedro 1 for 4. Jordy Mercer will now get his opportunity. Jordy hasn't hit a home run since the 21st of June at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. Ranks first in the National League among number 8 hitters in batting average, hitting .297 from the 8th spot. Ball and no strikes to Jordy Mercer. That was going to be a free strike, and Kahnle didn't take advantage of it. Typically after the one pitch outs, as a hitter, you're not going to go up there and swing at the first pitch. Risk having a 2-pitch, 2-out start to an inning.
That's a tough way to score.
Now it's 2-0. Justin Wilson now getting ready in the Pirates pen. Hard throwing lefty.
A couple of strikeouts for Justin in the scoreless inning last night.
2-0 to Mercer. And he drills it down the left field line, and it's foul.
Just a little bit out in front. Looking for the fastball, getting it just a little quick. Looking dead red, and he got it.
Just hooked. 2-1 count to Jordy. Hitting .346 this month. Three and one. Now Kahnle a pitch away from putting the winning run on base. Kahnle's only been near the plate one time in this Mercer at bat. And that one time, Jordy just missed a double.
Squared it up good. Or not quite good enough. Squared it up a little bit too early.
Stretched by Kahnle. Now the 3-1 to Jordy Mercer. That's high ball 4, and the winning run is aboard in the bottom of the ninth. 1-out walk. Mike Davis will come up. .234 the average this season for Ike. Mike has traditionally been a second half performer. 267 in the second half. Looks like his numbers favor the first half, but as far as average, better in the second half. There are more games in the first half of seasons too. In fact, this year the Pirates played 95 games in the first half. Tonight is game number 97, 65 regular season games after this one. Pirates won their 50th game last night, looking for 51 tonight. 1-0 to Ike Davis. He takes up high, and it's 2-0. And Canely struggling for a strike right now.
And the Rockies infield obviously set up for a double play. The outfielders kind of bunched, so they're giving Ike Davis the corners. If you can hook something down in there. A lot of action for Jordy. A lot of exercise.
Davis will take that one. It's 2-1 count. Mike has hit safely in 12 of his last 14 games against the Rockies. 16 for 44 with 5 runs batted in. 2-1 pitch. And Ike, ground ball to first, and it almost ate up Culberson. Goes down to second base. Mercer safe. So at the very least, a productive at bat, moving the winning run into scoring position. And Culberson, in his second ever game at first base in the big leagues, played that ball rather well.
Yeah, they had some English on it. That ball could have wound up down on the right field line, and he could really have had a lot of fun. As it is, he stays with it nicely. He goes over to the base, and then he's got the runner kind of in his line, but Jordy's going to get there in time anyway. That's good play. But we're in business.
Well, and Gregory Polanco is 0 for 4 tonight. He's faced all left-handers. And Walt Weiss brought out a left-handed specialist, Rex Brothers, in the 8th inning to face him. It was the only man Brothers faced. Now he'll get to face a right-hander for the first time tonight.
It's much better for Gregory.
Polanco with 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning of a 2-2 ball game. Winning run at second.
Jordy should get a pretty decent lead because they've got to play it pretty honest on the infield. They can't really dog him too much.
And a strike called.
I'll tell you, Gregory Polanco has pretty good power, and is it me, Tim, or is Dickerson very, very shallow in left field?
See what Polanco can do. No balls, 1 strike. Mercer off second. And the pitch coming from Canely. Side 1-1. Rockies get both their runs in the 7th inning on a 2-run home run by Carlos Gonzalez. Pirates had a single run in the 4th inning. Back-to-back doubles, Walker and Sanchez, and then a single run in the 8th inning. And Neil Walker drove in Josh Harrison with a base hit.
Let's see where Rosario sets up here. See if they're going to try to crowd him again. Yep, they want it inside.
Polanco hammers this one to right field, and Gonzalez will make the catch.
Right on the button.
Boy, did he square that one up. Barrel the ball to right field, and we're going to extra innings. Gregory Polanco realized he hit it in an area where Gonzalez could make the play. Saturday night at PNC Park, 2-2 the score. Gregory Polanco just blistered that baseball, but right in an area where Gonzalez could make the catch in right field. Polanco 0 for 5 on the night. Well, the new pitcher is left-hander Justin Wilson. Wilson making his 42nd appearance tonight. He'll face Josh Rutledge, Corey Dickerson, Willeen Rosario. 4, 5, and 6. Becomes the third reliever used to back up Charlie Morton. Morton went 7, gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 3 on 5 hits. Rutledge 0 for 1. He flied to center field in the 7th inning. Takes a strike from Wilson.
I don't even remember Mark Melancon being in the game. It was like a cameo.
Yeah, how about this for Mark Melancon? 5 pitches to get 3 outs, and he broke 2 bats and got a strikeout. There's a slow roller down to third. Pedro barehanded throwing, and it looked like it hit Rutledge. So Ike tags him, but no attempt made to go to second base by Rutledge. A tough play here for Alvarez. The throw looked like it hit Rutledge.
Yeah, got tangled up. I wonder if he really got a grip. I was wondering if he was going to take that with a glove. Decided to take it bare hand and just had a little tail on it toward the runner. And the Rockies are in business.
Corey Dickerson is 2 for 3 tonight. Rockies left fielder hitting .333 on the season. Middle infield looks for 2. Pedro in on the grass at third. Dickerson swings through a fastball, caught a piece of it for strike 1.
You need the Wilson strikeout.
And what we've seen out of Wilson lately, Steve, is he's just been going after hitters with fastballs. Think of that sequence he had in Cincinnati, where he had to face a couple of tough customers late in the ball game. Pirates were in a jam. He came in, struck out both of them with fastballs.
Well, that's his number 1.
0-1 pitch. And a ground ball to short. Mercer throws to Walker. That's all they'll get. The way they were positioned, it would have been difficult for Walker to pivot and throw to first base, but fielder's choice by Dickerson. They get the force out at second, 6-4. 1 out.
Picked that ball off the ground. Yeah, literally erased to second base. The runner and the defender.
Willeen Rosario will now face Wilson. Rosario has hit into a double play already tonight once. He's 0 for 3. And a chopper to short. Should be 2. And we are going to the bottom of the 10th. Rosario hits into his second double play of the game. Great pictures from the Allegheny Health Network Super Mo telling the story of tonight's game. Bottom of the 10th inning. 2 runs apiece, 6 hits apiece. And the Pirates with 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Harrison, McCutchen, and Martin. And they will face a new right-hander, Brooks Brown. Brown making his first appearance ever against the Pirates. Made his major league debut on the 6th of July against the Dodgers. So it'll be Brooks Brown to face the Pirates' 2, 3, 4 hitters, and Steve Bucks with the winning run in scoring position in the bottom of the 9th couldn't get him in. And now they get another chance thanks to the third double play pulled off in the ball game by the Pirates defense.
Back to work.
Jay Hay tonight without a hit. He walked and scored in the 8th inning. He's 0 for 3. Well, you got 2 National League All-Stars coming up back-to-back this inning. I hope that means something. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But
well, you get a chance against a rookie, Brooks Brown.
In Brown's debut on the 6th of July, he went 1 2/3 innings and 2 strikeouts. He became the 9th reliever in Rockies history with multiple strikeouts in a major league debut. The last one was Jhoulys Chacin in 2009 against San Francisco. Brooks Brown, former Pirate farmhand in Indianapolis last year. So he certainly is familiar with this roster. Brown went 6 and 5 with Indy in 37 appearances in 2013. Out of Columbus, Georgia.
This might be a little bit of a vendetta.
0-1 pitch. And Harrison pulls it down the third baseline, foul. Well, Brooks Brown had some big-time experience in college at the University of Georgia. Was in the College World Series with the Bulldogs in 2006. Josh Harrison with an 0-2 count to start the bottom of the 10th inning.
Familiar sideways setup.
Josh got a piece of it. Foul ball is behind the plate. Did it hit him or was it behind the plate? Let's see. Oh, got to hit him. It hit him, so that's a foul ball.
I thought he'd hit that ball on the bounce at first.
In the 7th inning or later, Jay Hay with a .287 batting average, 4 home runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Very unique setup by Brooks Brown, as he is almost parallel to the mound with both feet.
Well, so far in his brief major league career, right-handed batters are 2 for 7 against him. .286 average.
Starts out pretty much squared away, and he goes way over.
1-2 to Jay Hay. Struck him out. Harrison strikes out for the 2nd time tonight, and there's 1 gone for the Pirates in the 10th.
Ball down under the strike zone.
Like you threw the splitter there, Steve.
I did it. He's certainly tall enough. That really had a lot of downward movement.
So Andrew McCutchen up. 1 hit tonight. He's walked once. 1 for 3. Reached on an error back in the 1st inning. He's been on base 3 times out of 4. Brown's pitch. is low, ball one. Some similarities maybe to the Braves closer, Craig Kimbrell, huh? Center.
Very close there.
Kimbrell will bring the shoulders square to the plate, where Brown has them the other way. But the Spider-Man stance. 2-0. What does that do for you as a pitcher?
I don't know. It looks awkward.
So everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah. A lot of it's a comfort level. You know, guys line up on the first base side of the rubber, third base side. And he's got everything. He's got the ball in back of the knee. He's got the glove folded up.
McCutcheon, ground ball to shortstop. Rutledge goes over to first to get him. 2 out. Well, 2 down. That'll bring up the catcher, Russell Martin.
Catcher, Russell Martin.
Extra innings tonight. The 10th inning. And 1 out away from going to the 11th. Pirates are 6-4 in extra innings games this year. Rush tonight with a base hit in the 8th inning. 1 for 4 tonight. Speed pitch for a strike call. Jared Hughes getting loose. Won't take him long. Warms up quickly. Looks like he's already ready. Brooks Brown delivers 0-1. And a comebacker, and we're going to be heading to the 11th. Pirates 2, Rockies 2. The extra innings continue at PNC Park.
Long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Feed it.
Well, extra innings. Don't stop till you get enough. Pirates hope to hit one off the wall from the bottom of the inning. Maybe over the wall. 2-2. Charlie Culberson, first baseman for the Rockies, will face Jared Hughes. Hughes takes over for Wilson. Wilson had a good inning, gave up just a hit, but helped out by a double play. Pirates bullpen been very good. 3 innings of scoreless relief, giving up just 1 hit. Jared Hughes faced the bottom part of the Rockies order. Culberson, LeMahieu, and the pitcher's spot. Well, the word on Justin Morneau is that he was hoping to play tonight, but it looks like Walt Weiss He'll do what he can do to keep him out of the ball game. Probably see Drew Stubbs come in. Oh no, the first pitch hits him. And now a man aboard for LeMahieu.
You can only play with this kind of fire so long. They sit by Wilson to lead off the 10th. Pirates got around that with a double play. It's amazing through 10 innings, facing just 3 batters and 8 out of those 10.
Well, trying to be optimistic. Maybe this sets up another double play.
Yeah.
LeMahieu has hit 3 ground balls to the infield, 2 to Walker, 1 to Alvarez.
Pedro way up on the grass.
.279 the average for LeMahieu, former Cub farmhand. Hughes, ground ball pitcher, delivers a strike. Pirates expecting LeMahieu to bunt, trying to get Culberson over to second base, and it is Drew Stubbs out of the on-deck circle, former Cincinnati Red.
Stu Cole, third base coach, go through the signs again. All of Colorado fixed on the third base coach.
No balls, 1 strike, and the pitch coming to LeMahieu. Now he'll throw to first. Hughes will. If LeMahieu was going to bunt, he was going to show it late. Top of the 9th inning in Washington. The Nationals ahead of Milwaukee 8-3. Pedro creeping in from third. And LeMahieu puts the bunt down firmly. Hughes bobbles it. He'll have 1 play. It's to first. Might have had a play at second base, but the sacrifice puts the go-ahead run in scoring position now. 1 out.
Got pretty good wood on this ball, but Jared could not get a handle. Lucky that he kept the juggling act alive, because that could have gotten exciting at first base.
It sounded like Jared Hughes was hearing the calls to go to second base, the 2-2-2, and I think he had that ball thrown before he actually had it caught.
It's one of those situations too. You might be thinking about where you're going. You might be looking to your target before you get a handle on it.
Drew Stubbs, the pinch hitter, takes a strike. Stubbs started in center field last night. Four for 12 as a pinch hitter this season. Good stop by Martin. What a stop. He keeps the runner right where he is at second base.
Huge play. Andre Fleury would have been proud of that one.
That one might have been wide of the net.
Yeah, true.
Still a glove save and a beauty. And the 1-1. Now it's 1-2. Well, the pitcher like Hughes, Martin's certainly aware he's going to be out there in that left side batter's box. Sinker slider pitcher. The sliders are going to ride outside. Now ahead of the count. We'll see if Jared can get Hughes to chase. Get Stubbs to chase, rather. And the 1-2 pitch to Drew Stubbs. Trying indeed to get him to chase, but Russell Martin made a great block again. How much confidence do you have to throw this pitch, knowing that Martin's behind the plate?
Well, it helps helps knowing that he is back there, because part of the game plan, a lot of these pitching staffs, Pirates included, they use that phrase, we want to bury the breaking ball. That means hit the ground. They want that ball in the dirt, because there's so many batters these days chasing that pitch.
Stubbs, line shot off the glove of Alvarez. And Pedro might have just saved a run as the runner Culberson has to stop at third base. That ball gets past Alvarez. Culberson would have tried to score here.
Ball hit hard, and Pedro gets enough leather to save it.
That'll be a pinch hit single for Drew Stubbs. The runners at first and third. Culberson at third base, Stubbs over at first, and the Rockies threatening with one out. Charlie Blackmon up. Blackmon with one hit and 3 at bats. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Blackmon had a great first half of the season.
And has hit into only one double play this year. But Jared Hughes works downstairs so he can get the ground ball.
Right into the glove of Hughes. There's a double play. How do you like that?
Wow, great reaction for Jared, and then didn't overly excited. Took his time, made the throw to third base. Great reaction. Picked it, looked around, and there it was.
Terrific defensive play. Blackmon will soar. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th. A second time, I should say. The Pirates have turned 4 double plays in a game. Only the second time that's happened. Blackmon lines into the glove of Hughes. Twists his ankle at the same time. Russell Martin excited about that, certainly. Throw over to third base to double off Culberson. Knew where he could go. 4 double plays tonight. Culberson ends up turning an ankle out of this.
Whoa, look at that back foot. Ouch.
He seems to be okay enough to continue, and he is out in center field right now. Tie that shoe up a little tighter. Get the high top for the Velcro strap. And the new pitcher for the Rockies is right-hander Chad Bettis.
He has been up and down several times between AAA and the Major League level. Pitcher number 6 in the evening for the Rockies.
Do you think this Bettis should wear number 36 instead of 35?
No.
No?
No. Jerome belongs to us.
Only one Bettis with 36.
That's it. Yep. He's got the mutton chops going.
Strike to Walker. He looks like the Wolverine from the X-Men, doesn't he?
Yes. Well, get started again tonight, Neil.
Walker had the RBI single to tie it in the 8th. Pirates batting in the bottom of the 11th. A win tonight gives them a series victory. 51st win of the year. And would bring them a little closer to the Brewers, who have lost to Washington.
Good looking final.
8-3. Nationals with a win. Yeah, a win for the Buccos would bring them to 2.5. Behind the Brewers. Things would get tightened up. The Cardinals, with the 4-2 win over the Dodgers tonight, have tied the Brewers for the division lead.
It's nice when you can win a ball game and gain ground on 2 teams in front of you. You're right in the thick of things, but that's not happened yet. Big pitch being delivered here.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Neil Walker. Payoff pitch. Fouled off. Walker's been pretty good in the 7th inning or later. .323 batting average. 4 home runs, 15 RBIs. Bucco defense tonight with 4 double plays. Second time this season they've done that. Ties a season high. Jared Hughes started it just by having his glove in the right place at the right time. 3-2 fouled off. And it's just contact off the bat and then contact on the leather of the glove. It's bang, bang.
Yep. 2 quick sounds. And now, Neil, keep it going, keep the at bat going, because in 22 innings he's walked 9. It's a relatively high percentage. He's given up 34 hits in 22 innings.
There's a ground ball up the middle, a base hit. Walker a leadoff single, and the Pirates with the winning run aboard again.
Well,
3rd hit of the night for Walker.
Again, he did it last night. He did it in the 8th inning. Just a little later in the evening.
Just getting past DJ LeMahieu. Walker excited about that. Now the Pirates will send up the backup catcher, Chris Stewart. The only player remaining on the bench now is Starling Marte. We weren't sure if he'd be available or not tonight. Stewart lays down a nice bunt. Sacrifice bunt by Stewart. 1-3 on the putout, and now the winning run in scoring position with 1 out. Pirates will have a couple of chances to get Walker in, with Alvarez coming up next. Fundamentally good job by Stewart.
Perfect bunt.
That's his 2nd sacrifice this year. And now with first base open, they will walk Pedro Alvarez. Pedro 1 for 4 tonight. Listen to this sellout crowd. They want to see Pedro swing the bat. And certainly Walt Weiss making the move he feels best here. They create a force play. And he's not concerned about Pedro's run. It's Walker at second base he's concerned with. Reno. Runs are even at 2. The hits are even at 7.
We talked about those kind of skewed numbers for Bettis coming into this appearance. 22 innings, 34 hits. High opponent's batting average.
Pirates with 2 on and 1 out. Jordy Mercer up. Mercer, no hits tonight. 0 for 3 with a walk. .247 the average currently for Mercer. His job is to get Walker in. Takes ball 1.
Anyway, limited action also. 5 wild pitches. So a lot of things on the plate for the Pirates. Good control issue, a lot of base hits. A few errant throws from Chad Bettis.
Mercer drills this one toward the gap, and this ball game is over. It's walk-off time, baby. Jordy Mercer wins it for the Pirates in the 11th inning. 3-2 Buccos. And the Pirates are now 2.5 out of first place.
Big win for the Bucks. Gonna have another sellout. These fans are going to get their fireworks before too long, but before that, they're on their feet, liking their Buccos. They're loving their Buccos tonight.
A walk-off winner for Jordy Mercer. Second straight night, the Pirates come back from a 2-1 deficit to overtake Colorado. They will win the series and go for a sweep tomorrow.
And once again, beside the dramatic finish, the Pirates with excellent pitching against a good hitting team. A lot of pitching going on at PNC Park and a great dramatic finish in front of a full house. Great night, Saturday night.
And Jordy Mercer makes a winner out of Jared Hughes. Chad Bettis suffers the loss. The Pirates now 51-46. And the Rockies now 40-56. 3-12 against the Central. 16-32 on the road for Colorado. They just continue to struggle away from Coors Field.
Robbie bring out the brooms.
Yeah, Robbie is standing by right now with Jordy Mercer.
Yeah, Jordy, he didn't get it on camera, but Josh Harrison gave him a little bit of the payback because Jordy's normally the guy throwing gum at everyone. Jordy, how do you describe the kind of magic this team has had the last couple months?
You know what? This is what we do. We play hard. We give it all we got. Thank you.
Never seen it done like that. That was well done by Gabby and Kutch.
I needed a drink, too. Thank you, guys.
What happened on that final at-bat? How'd you drive it into the gap?
You know, looking for something to drive. In those moments like that, you got to slow down, take a deep breath. You can't get caught up in the moment. You got to relax, get something to drive, and put the barrel on it. And luckily, found a hole in the gap. And that's all you're looking for.
Well, when Stewart bunts a guy over, how do you remain calm? Forget about the X's and O's and fastballs and curveballs. What do you do mentally just to remain calm, knowing a base hit scores Walker?
You've been in the more you're in that situation, the better you are. I think experience has a lot to do with it, and you just got to tell yourself, slow down, get a pitch you can drive.
This team is not where it was standings-wise a year ago, but you're now just 2.5 games back of first place in the National League Central Division. What kind of fun is this going to be the last couple months watching this day in and day out?
I mean, this is what we do. This is what we live for. This is our team. We showed a little bit last year, and we're gonna keep going this year. This is how we are. We grind out wins. We keep battling no matter what, and it's going to be fun these next couple months.
And how about doing this in front of 39,000 plus people on a weekend night? How do you describe it?
This is what they deserve. They did. Coming out, especially on a firework night, you know, to put on a show like we did, you know, it wasn't pretty at times, but a win's a win, and we'll take it.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you.
How about it? Dan and Ken, when you look at Jordy Mercer, he's going to have to take a nice shower and probably warm up a little bit. But how about that? The walk-off hit, 9th this season for the Pirates.